moto, I gotta get it. I might be solo, oh I with FOMO, you know I'm with it. But if I'm dolo, I'm still gon' want those, a real one. Because it's YOLO, you live once. I'm about that paper, we all shine. 7 days a week, it's no debate that we all grind. And you see them haters be on mine, talking about your boy like he the greatest of all time. If you flown it, then you should know that I want it. I be on it, I be ballin' all through the night till the morning. Want some money, you should see me move. I see it, dawg, cause I go hard in everything I do. Not be a child, she ain't checking competition, checking on my position. And no one mind is missing when we talking about my commission. Yes, if you ain't hear me, then stop and listen, cause no one mind is missing when we talking about my commission. See the baddest women in the room, I got it. That money stacking to the ceiling, fool, I got it. And people watching you watch how I move, I got it. You got it, I got it. You got it, I got it. You see the baddest women in the room, I got it. That money stacking to the ceiling, fool, I got it. And people watching you watch how I move, I got it. You got it, I got it. You got it, I got it. Your team's only strong as your leader is. That's why my team just know I'll never leave it this. Pockets get fatter and fatter, in fact I need it this. I'm getting money, it don't matter what the season is. And your girl love it, cause she know I be stuntin'. She see just how I does it. She know I ain't frontin', I got the streets buzzin'. Hey, you ain't got nothing, you gotta at least come in with the need to be something, man. Listen, ambition's a part of my plan, mission, transition, cash rich and getting some more additions. That's why they tryna get me and come in my neck. Just know my team is with me and come to protect. She ain't checking competition, checking on my position. And no one mind is missing when we talking about my commission. Yes. If you ain't hear me, then stop and listen, cause no one mind is missing when we talking about my commission. See the baddest women in the room, I got it. That money stacking to the ceiling, fool, I got it. And people watching you watch how I move, I got it. You got it, I got it. You got it, I got it. You see the baddest women in the room, I got it. That money stacking to the ceiling, fool, I got it. And people watching you watch how I move, I got it. You got it, I got it. You got it, I got it.
With the price. Bar the doors, turn off the lights. Where I'm headed, hell might be better. Saviors all around, grab the bottle, roll the cigs. Yeah, I like how that sounds. Light it up, it's the nasty pipe. If I'm no one, no one, no one. If I'm nothing, nothing. What does that make you? Lost cause. Bodies lay numb, destruction follows everywhere that you run. Lost cause, bodies lay numb, destruction happens but the blame is on one. Everything comes with a price. fool a couple times. Bring me in, worth a gamble, roll the dice. Count me out of the plans I made tonight. Unfinished business on my mind. They look so pretty when they're scared. Caught slipping, they're so unaware. I just kill the enemy, kill the lies. Kill the bad in me, it's a lie. Killing all the noise in my mind. Heavy and hot, revenge, it looks nice. Kill the enemy, kill the lies. Kill the bad in me, it's a lie. Ripping red flags, wave 'em wide. Wave 'em wide. Knock, knock, open up, I don't bite. Just me going bump in the night. Sleep well, don't close your eyes. Don't close your eyes. Misery loves company and it's your turn. May the doubts last, I'll finish it first. Lights out. Lights out. They look so pretty when they're scared. Caught slipping, they're so unaware. I just kill the enemy, kill the lies. Kill the bad in me, it's a lie. Killing all the noise in my mind. Heavy and hot, revenge, it looks nice. Kill the enemy, kill the lies. Kill the bad in me, it's a lie. Ripping red flags, wave 'em wide. Wave 'em wide. Heavy and hot, revenge, it looks nice. Wave 'em wide.
Don't stop now. Girl, you headed to the top now. Imagine rolling with the top down. All the haters wanna chill cause you hot now. Smile and say not now. Yeah, where my queen's at. It's us again like a rematch. Grab your girls, don't detach. We the winning ticket, you just need to scratch. Such a lady, and you honest. You be killing them with kindness. Giving younger ones some guidance. And your grades stay on honest. You should be proud of yourself. Go and smile at yourself. Chin up, chest high, get up, get fly. You so special, you so special. Boom, boom, my sister the coldest. Youngest the oldest, heart so golden. Rolling deep as an ocean. Belly gets swole, creating life we chosen. May have been cracked, never been broken, never been stagnant. Always in motion, can't do folding. The women have soul, we make the world go round. To all the girls in the world, I hope you know you on your way up. Yeah, you got it, you got it. To all the girls in the world, keep shining on your way up. Yeah, you got it, you got it. To all the girls in the world, I hope you know you on your way up. Yeah, you got it, you got it. To all the girls in the world, keep shining on your way up. Yeah, you got it, you got it. To all my girls, listen up. You can be anything you want. You can be a doctor, you can be a pilot. You can plan parties, make sure I'm invited. Just work real hard at your job. If you go to school, graduate on top. To my stay-at-home moms, the business owners, you the bomb. Life ain't perfect, but it's yours. That makes it worth it even more. You gotta love yourself, of course. Look in the mirror, then applaud. All good days ain't promised, but smile through the problems. You fly regardless, confidence, don't leave without it. Boom, boom, my sister the coldest, youngest the oldest, heart so golden, rolling deep as an ocean, belly gets swollen, creating life we chosen. May have been cracked, never been broken, never been stagnant, always in motion, can't do folding. Women have spoken, we make the world go round. To all the girls in the world, I hope you know you on your way up. Yeah, you got it, you got it. To all the girls in the world, keep shining on your way up. Yeah, you got it, you got it. To all the girls in the world, I hope you know you on your way up. Yeah, you got it, you got it. To all the girls in the world, keep shining on your way up. Yeah, you got it, you got it. Now I need all my girls to clap and repeat after me. I am
The bricks feel different on the spine. This is it, Tony Hawk, I'm getting on my grind. It's all in the mind, I don't even need a sign. Come back, get applying pressure from behind. I ain't got no enemies, turn them all to allies. Face painted, no cat eyes, ship never been capsized. My rationale different cause I made it. No street sweeper, I just gallop off the pavement. Money Mayweather, yo, I came in trying to be the greatest. Not the only, but the latest. Had to keep it like the cadence. If the planet hit it, save it. I be in the conversation, it's amazing how the plan come together like a compilation. If they counting on me, then I hate to keep them waiting, let's go. Our backs to the wall, but they got no.
Bit of a journey towards East Asia last time around, and well, shocking results from the start of that stream. But here we go now, back to SEA where we belong. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Tash still here for you today. After an extended break, we are now moving regions and we are going over to the final qualifier of SEA. We have 6 teams already established from the past 2 weeks, 2 more to go. And I believe real quick we can get a bit of a refresher, right, Tash? Just check out that format yet again, just to showcase what these guys are playing for here.
It's gonna be really exciting when we talk about the format because these formats.
Yes, I can hear you. Don't worry. Oh, maybe not on. Oh, there you go. There you go. So Tash is gonna be communicating in sign language for a bit as we check out that format here. We've already tackled Japan, Korea a while ago. 4 teams will be making it to December. 4 teams from OCE gonna happen there as well. It was found out at the end of October, but here we are, Tash. Final qualifier to see who will play in those last 2 slots for SEA.
I think what's really exciting to talk about the SEA is that we have even though we're just one region, look at how many countries are participating compared to Japan, Korea, and OCE. You can see that for SEA, it's a little bit more, I would say, competitive, given the fact that we are going to get 8 teams going forward instead of just 4 from Japan, Korea, as well as OCE. Now, what's really exciting is the fact that we've seen so many, despite the fact that we have so many different, countries in our region, each country has their own unique and particular, gameplay and play style, given the fact that Indonesia as well as Thai players love playing a little bit more aggressive. MYSG love playing a little bit more calculated. For Thailand, Vietnam, they're a little bit more on a 300 IQ but fast. Now, I'm curious to know, how exactly does Hong Kong, Taiwan play?
I mean, we've seen from the Hong Kong, Taiwan region, it's just who's able to outpower the other on the local scene. Not the best success in the region itself, but someone's trying to break that barrier, and we can check out the brackets of the teams right now in this competition. So, given the fact that this is back to SCA, these are the only 2 matchups that matter at the very end. We have X64 versus Griffin Esports, and you also have Axe versus Kunpeng. We're checking out the matchup with Griffin Esports, and in all honesty, Tash, that's a very familiar name for us here in the VCT APAC side, knowing the fact that Griffin has been one of the mainstays of Taiwan, Hong Kong.
Yeah, for Griffin Esports, I think it's really safe to say that, you and I were there during the VCT APAC Stage 1, Stage 2. Griffin Esports showed the most, I would say, in terms of improvement as well as gameplay and team play during the tournament itself. It's always very fun to watch them, and they are very, very familiar names. Now, when you look at another team instead of that, which is X64, now, personally, for me, they're very, very new to me in particular. But if you look at where they've been in terms of how they played, in terms of how they play 1 versus 1, I think each player does come with some significant amount of, I would say, experience. If you look at Lin rather, he's come from 4 different teams before he finally moved on to X64. And then if you look at, say, they've actually taken down Ghetto Artist as well. We were just talking about that during the break, and you said the Ghetto Artist is also a very big name here during the VCT APAC Stage 2.
Yeah, they showed up last time around, and since you tackled it already, I believe we can get the rosters to show on screen for our upcoming matchup. X64 versus Griffin Esports. These 2 teams looking to do battle, but at the same time, I'm looking at this matchup right now, and I'm wondering how Griffin Esports is gonna play here, because here we have our 2 teams. X64 gets first MVP, Willens, Simon, we got Adrian Agonize, and you got Burger King. In the meantime, for Griffin Esports, I had to chuckle. I was like, his name is Burger King, and we know he's gonna have it his way later on. Griffin Esports, you got Lock M, Sing, Feng 3, Sufat BB, and YR Select. And my first glimpse at this Griffin Esports roster here, Tash, you have your core of Feng, Sufat, as well as YR Select, but new names with Lock M and Sing joining the roster.
I was about to ask you about them. Like, what do you know about them? They're brand new to the team. I mean, even the fact that they have 2 new players can severely change how they play a game, how they play together, how their dynamics are going to be.
Well, we can tackle it actually once we deep dive into Griffin Esports.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's showcase it. I don't mind showcasing it right now. Before anything else, though, I kind of want to ask you, what do you think about still having Feng Shu, Fat BB, and YR Select? Since you were there, especially in VCT, I think you know firsthand how well these 3 play together.
Sufat BB, very passionate player, very aggressive as a duelist, takes up space very ferociously, and would actually, I would say that he's a very impatient player, would go in without his teammate because he is very, I would say, what's the word, confident in how he plays and his skills. Feng 3, great with those really, I would say, nasty sort of corner angles, how he plays, and YR Select just so good at just holding down the line. So when you look at Initiator, for these 2 Initiators, I'm really curious to know how exactly are they going to work with the team in terms of dynamics, in terms of how they play. In terms of an Initiator, you know that their main job is to try to go in for that first, I would say, information gatherings, first and foremost, and secondly, if they can go aggressive and get a pick, even better. And I
was just about to say, you make a really good point there.
Yeah.
And it just kind of loops back to the fact where if Sufat BB is going ahead, maybe you need other people to enable him. Maybe you need other people who can catch up. And from what I know about Sing, he has been part of the VCT Hong Kong Taiwan scene for quite a while, joining teams like Anti-Eco, Eco Club, and Ivan. I think those are some of the names that he's been in. And Lock M, we're going to be seeing this a bit in the Taiwan Hong Kong side. Some Chinese players moving on in, looking to compete here as well. And from what I know, with the middle stuff I know about the Chinese side, he's been part of Weibo Gaming. So all of these guys are experienced, and well, for Griffin Esports, they just look to build on the core they have with players who have been around the scene for quite a while.
I mean, if you think about their usual gameplay, this is just my prediction about what we can see from Lock M and Sing, is the fact that if Feng, Sufat BB, and YR Select are still going to be playing aggressive, we may be expecting a very aggressive Initiator from these 2 as well. Regardless, let's have a look at X64. Now, for X64, I've been trying to do some digging about them, and they're still very new to me. But what I do know is that for Burger King, I mean, as you say, have it your way, he's actually they're dedicated chamber player, and they haven't been playing a lot of games. But the fact that they actually took down Ghetto Artist 2-1 is what's making me very intrigued in this team.
Yep, very good point there, Tash. The fact is, completely new team. That's for sure. You take down Ghetto artists like that, some people will be turning their heads. And for me, I think one of the names you have to watch out for is, well, a long-time player of 5 Ace Esports. He was there at the start of the year. He also played during that stage 1. He also played around in other teams last year in the Hong Kong Taiwan VCT. So he's one out to watch for. Kind of on the other side, you have Spirit MVP, who's relatively new. Burger King, you mentioned, relatively new. I think Chow B, or perhaps he's going to be named Agonize, into the server right now. He's the one who's a little bit interesting because some of our records here, more on the international side, might not get too much of the Chinese region. And he was part of OT Gaming, was part of Invictus Gaming Academy for a while, but that was like a year ago. So really for Chow B, this is the perfect chance right now to show off. And I think that kind of relates to the whole X64 gang. These guys are gonna prove themselves yet again here at Clash of Nations. This is what this tournament was about. And if we saw it happen, yes, last week in the Philippine-Indonesia qualifier rather, we saw it a while ago in Japan, Korea. We might see it here in Taiwan, Hong Kong.
I think what's really exciting to talk about is the fact that at first when I was looking at Simon's VLR, I saw so many different agents picked and I was a bit scared. I was like, what is this? What's going on? Until you mentioned to me that he was joining a lot of weekly tournaments, which means that he can actually just change around and just kind of like practice what he wants to practice. But if you look at the previous matches that he's been playing, we're seeing a more, I would say, concise or rather rules, what we can expect them to play. I mean, for Burger King, I think he's only been playing one agent and one agent throughout a lot of matches. maps, and that's gonna be the chamber. And I don't blame him with his KDA that's absolutely so high. I wouldn't be surprised if we're gonna be seeing some really insane head tapping from either his tour de force or even the headhunter. And also given the fact that he is very, very good at that, we can actually see him kind of really either holding down a site or holding down an area in terms of anti-lurks and anti-flanks. Now for Chao B, you mentioned that this is a situation where we're going to be expecting him to kind of prove himself. I think for a lot of duelists, it comes with that pressure. Then the fact that he actually played one game as a Brimstone against Ghetto Artist. So I'm curious to know here, like, what exactly happened. Is he kind of like switching around with Simon?
I think it's just a fracture map, and we might even see it here when we get our map draft upon us. I kind of look at the duelists who come from China actually and play in the Taiwan-Hong Kong region. It reminds me of way back when, if you might know this name, Kang Kang, who is part of EDG right now. He actually had a foray in Taiwan and Hong Kong. He was there last year within the SEA region, and we've seen it from time to time where they're trying to prove themselves in a different region. It's pretty much geographically nearby anyway, so it works out for them, and especially the same language there. But now we can get that map veto on, and I think this is going to be the interesting part because we talked about it a little bit with the role swaps there for X64. We're going to get Fracture yet again for them, so I'm expecting, yeah, Simon to perhaps move over to the Brimstone, or rather move over to the Neon, and we'll get the Brimstone from our Chinese duelist instead. But Ascent, Fracture, Bind. Any thoughts about this one, Tash?
Personally, I mean, the last two maps, if you look at that, I mean, I think you can see here is Griffin Esports taking Bind and Fracture. It kind of really shows their prowess in terms of CQC, in terms of how they play in corners as well, and how they want to kind of like take space and hold down the line. So now X64 pick Ascent. Ascent is a very big map, but yet small sites, I would say. It can work out with Griffin Esports' way of play, but we have seen Griffin Esports play this map in particular during VCT APAC Stage 2, and I think this is when I was actually remarking, like, this is the most that we've ever seen in terms of improvement from Griffin. While it didn't go far, it was really obvious to see how exactly the dynamics are on this map, and I'm curious to see why exactly X64 chose this map when they kind of thrive on this map particularly.
I think the thing is, yes, we did see that improvement in VCT 8-pack. It happened versus Gaimin Gladiators, if I remember correctly, and they faced off against each other twice. But the thing is, the improvement was, in all honesty, a bit of a low standard. This year, I believe that Griffin Esports has one of the lowest win rates that they have in terms of the maps on Ascent, around almost 20%. And the thing is, this whole map pool has been played before by X64 here in Clash of Nations. And since they're a new team, they're at least going to be familiar in every single one of them. But once we get into Fracture, I think that's where it's going to be really much a test for X64's brand, because Griffin Esports, they have had a lot of experience on this map, matches against 5Ace, matches against Oblivion Force. We don't talk about the one that happened against Boom Esports, but in all honesty, it's more of a test really. If X64 can take that first map and prove that they can even beat Griffin Esports at their own game into the second, I think X64 will say that they're a team to be watched out for. In the meantime, Griffin Esports, I wouldn't be surprised if they're banking on the latter half of this map pool to take the series.
Honestly, when you think about it that way, I mean, yes, there was improvement from Griffin Esports. I think in terms of competitive play, Griffin Esports has gone to international stages even more than Gaming Gladiators. The fact is, while we do see, and coming back to your point there, while we do see the improvement, it just wasn't enough to come out against a team like Gaming Gladiators, who I would think not exactly as high tier as them. Regardless, this is where I would say it might be either their redemption arc, it might be a place for them to really kind of figure out how exactly it's going to work. But let's have a look at the age select here to see what exactly they have in mind. Again, this is X64's map pick, and it looks like from here, what I'm seeing here, if they actually do go Killjoy as well as the Omen, Sova, Jet, and KO, this is the exact same comp and lane lineup they used way back when, which was a long time ago.
I mean, I'm looking at Griffin first and foremost. They bring out the Omen. Last time around that we've seen them actually play in international competition was them running the Astra instead, but that's months ago. So the Omen did more of the comfort pick. Probably Feng are going to be happier to play with the Paranoias. Also, we know on Ascent from the Shadows, rotations are very effective at reinforcements, and the rest is just basically the new players filling in some of the roles that have been left behind. So it's still double ini for Griffin Esports. Instead, let's check out X64 because here on Ascent, they are gonna be watching. We're gonna watch Agonize, but I really think that shall be right now under a different thing. He's gonna be on the Raze, double initiator 2. Of course, the chamber mainstay that you pointed out a while ago for Burger King. But the difference here is it's Fade for X64.
Depending on how exactly you want to do this, personally for me, I really like Fade over Sova just for this map in particular, given the fact that there's a lot of corners to clear, which is why Prowlers are so good to be used. Even the Sky, honestly, at this point. But given the fact that I think how they want to play this for Feng 3 being on the Sova, maybe perhaps they want to get that hard intel on the other side and go to the rest. We have really no clue. That's a difference here. Now, we did see a Killjoy earlier today for this map in particular. Didn't really get a lot of value given the way that he used the lineup. So I'm really curious to see how exactly Lock M will be holding down the line. Now, this is mostly, I think my eyes will be on Lock M and Burger King. These two Sentinels really kind of like really hold exactly the flow of the game on how exactly they can stall a push, how exactly they can stop the anti-lurks.
Yeah, well, we're almost going to be getting into the game very soon here, ladies and gentlemen. It's an exciting time here at Clash of Nations. So let's get now into the matchup, into Ascent. It's game time here between Griffin Esports as well as X64, and who will be one of the two representatives of the Taiwan-Hong Kong region will find out. Looking though at Griffin Esports, of course, the core trio is still here. Feng, you got Sufat, and of course, you will have YR Select into play. Defensive for Griffin Esports first and foremost. X64, their siege looking to begin towards that B site here.
Haunt already used and expended there onto the mid side, as well as the Prowlers just clear out Pizza. This is a very quick mid side take as the other members of Griffin. Oh, this is the very famous corner where Feng was able to get multi-frags. Will he actually be able to do it once again? Regardless, they have a crossfire onto this area, as well as Feng, as well as Sufat BB. The turret will be the one to take away some of the distractions, as Sing will be caught up in the corner near Logs. Agonize already on the side here, immediately finding Sufat BB. That's a very fast push onto the side. 13 HP. Man's not scared at all. The plant comes through.
And the lurk even from Simon wins that versus Feng. He thought that he could drop on the meditating Astra, but right now Simon ready for combat. Lock M also looking to test this, but Griffin Esports already down by 2, maybe even a third. The Frenzy going for the battle. It's just a duel in the middle, and this should be X64's round unless Lock M can hit the biggest spray of his life. They're too low for X64, but Lock M also low on the HP. A big kill onto Burger King, but it's not enough as Spirit MVP will spirit him away. X64, you mentioned that faster take from mid to B. It would lead to their victory.
Yeah, that was really fast. Sing tried to do the same thing like Feng did over in Logs. The problem is this time around they did check, and his teammate was not ready for that crossfire as they kind of went through. Regardless, I have to say that Lock M getting 2 already toward the mid side was pretty huge, and it actually just shows that he actually was ready to kind of meet them or welcome them in that area. Now this time around, for this round in particular, gun deficits all around here for the side of Griffin, but they can make it at least a little bit more expensive. The presence knife does get suppressed, and also I'm not sure if that anyone did get tagged by that shock dart.
Yeah, crossfire being set up even by Griffin Esports. Burger King, he's looking to lead that charge. Still, I will chuckle every single time I say his name by this point here, Tash. Burger King, come on. What's your go-to Burger King order? Is that something where you Whopper? Normal?
Always the Whopper. Yep, always normal Whopper.
Okay.
And we always go for the fries because the fries are one of the best. They're just big, fat, chunky fries. It's gonna be as chunky as these kills if it was gonna be hitting through. Immediately chunky onto YR Select. Going down here, Spirit MVP guys was you with 2 before finally going down. Bandit situation, Agonize only with 2 HP.
Yeah, they checked left, but not right, and that's the thing. Good crossfire setup by Griffin Esports. Gets a few kills. Lock M this time gets a drop onto Simon. And actually, this is still doable here for Lock M after everything is said and done. Picks up the Spectre. He has the possibility to come from Speedway, and check out the HP here for X64. Low yet again. So a chance here. If Lock M can get some good intel and isolate the duel, it is a possibility, but Agonize immediately getting in position. Lock M finds him anyway. 1v1. Griffin Esports, some incredible damage so far. far. The Aldron also scouting, can't see inside the boathouse though. It's gonna be Wellens trying to wait for the angle, wait for the timing. There's the tap, but can't get the takedown. Lock M right now with a flash. A good try from Lock M as he goes in, seeing the flash coming from Wellens, but it's still X64 with the win.
I have to say that was a very, very close round given the fact that it was a gun deficit, and honestly well played because Wellens threw out that flash knowing that he's going to be running inside to avoid it. Honestly, big brain play. That's exactly how you want to play in that situation. 4-2 for Lock M, even though that Griffin Esports is not the one in the lead when it comes to the rounds, but in terms of kills, they're a little bit higher when it comes to Lock M as well as Fat BB.
Yeah, and not only that, in terms of money, of course, Griffin Esports, they're gonna get the buys this time. A costly round a while ago for X64, forced to pick up the Stingers instead. They could have actually opted for the save, but it seems like for X64, since their whole game plan is to try and go for the rush down, if they get close enough at least, those SMGs can count. Mid-control vied for yet again. X64, what's going to be the plan here? I think my only concern right now is if they're too hasty, they might get caught out by Griffin Esports and some of the off angles. We'll see if they can clean that up moving into the next few rounds.
Roomba, don't think that's gonna get any value, at least for mid-side. Gives it a little bit of idea. That's two things used, but Burger King a little bit faster when it comes to that first initial contact lock. MYR Select gets one, but it's gonna be blown away by agonized pain shells. Very, very painful way to go kaboom. Plant comes through as well. Spirit MVP taking up this mid area. If he does push out, it goes out, he gets the backside. It's gonna be a huge backstab, but surprisingly, MVP still gets it. But surprise, surprise, Sing was there for the trade. It's still very doable, 2-on-3.
Yeah, Griffin congregate towards the market. It's gonna be Sing and Fung ready yet again. Trying to set up a bit of the crossfire, looking for the double up, but look at X64's positions. They went close in mid, now they're getting close on market. And they close it out well with the crossfire, as you mentioned. 3-0, a bonus win by X64. Eyes are opening towards this new team.
I mean, if you look at trends back during VCT APAC, Griffin is a team that's a little bit late in terms of getting warmed up. But I'm just curious to know, like, how many rounds in a row are you willing to give to your opponent? How many rounds in a row are you willing to kind of give in terms of mental fortitude? Because sometimes when you take too many losses, this is where I would say the tilt will come through. Regardless, this time, gonna be setting up here. The smokes will be on toward mid-side, but they're just taking their time, just waiting for those initial hits of the utilities before they finally actually commit onto the area, with Spirit leading the charge. They're taking that orb, and we all know how valuable the Nightfall can be to taking a site.
Yeah, set it up, knock it down. Thing is, there is setup from Griffin Esports across this main angle. You already have the Killjoy in position. Griffin gambling really to put almost all their eggs towards that A site. One in mid, just to listen in for any rotations. And it really does lead to X64 double thinking. Should we actually go into this one? They don't have the information though as of yet. Agonize slowly peeking. There we go with the boom bot, and eventually they decide to execute towards this A side turret though, doing some damage here. They come in close. The Prowler with the find. Yet again, there is just no fear for them whatsoever here, Tash. They go up close and personal, and they just sock Griffin Esports with a concussion out of nowhere.
Lock M tried to move through the open doors, just caught with his pants down. Regardless for Sing, the final man alive. Can he actually get one? No, not quite. It is a very great use of utilities. Think about it this way. He walks in, or rather satchels in, with the Prowler. The Prowler immediately gives the deafen as well as the blind, and then the smokes come through as well. Suddenly you have no clue what's happening because you cannot hear. Great advantage use from the Nightfall itself, and a great usage, a great idea to give Spirit all of those ultimate balls.
Yeah, the orbs there.
Orbs!
How many? How many? No, I'm not gonna continue that. Okay, well, apparently we got some more of these ultimate balls into use as Altis Fury as well as the null command are utilized here. Wellens though short-circuited from afar. He might be able to get rebooted here by X64 as they're looking to cover things up. And speaking of, there's
There
a
it
Nebula
is.
in the way, so Agonize resurrecting his teammate. Here goes Simon getting one. Wire Select able to set up a little bit on the
Sigma
opposite
two.
end. Speaking of Sing, that's huge here, making some noise. 3v2 situation. Burger King, though, absolutely blinded. Seems like, though, all of the other chains are knocking his way. Cornered right now as Agonize is trying to get the plant, but Agonize! He finds the line from the staircase, basically, and it will be a 1v1. Fung, though, clutches it out, and Griffin Esports, they finally take a round, but that was crazy. X64, they were just waiting for Griffin to come their way.
Oh man, it looked so great in the beginning for the side of X64 in that round. But for Griffin, it looks like they have an idea on how exactly they want to play this. Waiting for this for them instead of just going aggressive. I was a bit curious to know why exactly there was a disconnect between the teammates of Griffin, but then suddenly Sing with the 3K just gave them so much space. And I hope that's not I would say, the win condition for each round for them. But it looks like they're going to go for an aggressive pick. It's going to be a knife as well as the smoke coming through as well. Tour de Force already expended that tailwind, or rather the Cloudburst will at least give some space for Siupat to actually cross safely, as Burger King will have to give up that space. Immediately, the trail will be picked up by the Prowler, but doesn't quite hit the mark, and no, I would say, follow-up or even commit just yet to the utility.
Yeah, and I'm looking at X64 right now, and I kind of like that they have split up play a bit of that default, even though it's aggressive map control.
There we
The
go.
operator, though, you can't peek that twice. You already got warned by Shufat BB not to look this way. But I guess the Fade there, just not listening to
He
those
double-dipped.
instructions. Double dip?
Dude, never ever double dip. It's against
can't.
the divine law of chip dipping.
Exactly. So if you're gonna double dip, what you have to do is you use the other side of your chip. You can't just drop it the same side. You can't do it that way. But hey, I was just about to say a while ago, X64, they can't afford to tunnel vision. I think that was the biggest concern in that last round, especially with the market control there from Griffin. This time the
Oh,
operator
very
is a
interesting
different answer. Cosmic Divide into the plants, and X64 looking to just take a small segment of A site and use main for cover.
Yeah, they don't really have to commit anything. It's a very different sort of plan, but look at that lockdown come through here. They have to push up here through either a tree to kind of push up, or even go through a main. Either that, or they have to wait behind, and then the space will already ultimately be given to them. A Detain will come into one. Burger King gets stopped there. Fung finds well-ins, and regardless, Flash comes through as well. No one gonna be swinging out here. Simon just pushes through, but Siufat BB 3K the pocket with that off, and easily Fung gets one more, and suddenly it's 2 rounds in a row for Griffin Esports.
Yeah, Griffin Esports, this is a lot better. Find ways to control the pace. The operator is one of the easiest answers you can have on a map like this. You can test mid so easily. You can back off towards the site if you have someone to basically help watch your main angles. And Siufat BB does not disappoint. I understand the effort from X64. They had the Cosmic Divide, might as well try it anyway. But Griffin Esports, they already had the numbers by the time X64 executed.
This is the same usual setup they do in the beginning, and you always see a delay from X64 in terms of when they want to approach a site, because they don't want to get caught out or give any information early. Now Simon playing that high area in case someone wants to push out is actually really, really good, but Fung already expended 2 smokes onto the one-way there, just in case someone decides to peek out and just go through. But for mid control here, I think we can safely say that X64 loves asserting that mid control. It gives them so much space on where exactly they want to go. If say they didn't smoke out the back area here, they can actually go all the way up to the back to CT as well. Regardless, the Prowler does come out, Flash comes out, and that fragment will actually just buy some time, giving Sing a little bit of space to reposition, but MVP, Spirit MVP, not allowing to move away. But Simon as well finds Siufat BB. Suddenly it's just swaying back in their favor.
I also like that blast back. He might know someone is there, realizing there's a bit of noise made towards the corner. Couldn't find the shot though, but eventually X64, they bust down the initial defenses of Griffin Esports. Now all of them are on site. Will anyone actually contest the rafters? Seems like for Fung, he's gonna back on away, and the rest of Griffin Esports, they realize the disparity. Will retreat for now. X64's site execute, yet again, working out in their favor.
Yeah, they've been really fast when it comes to that. They just kind of take their time and then suddenly it's like an explosive push. It's not like what we expected from like say Bleed Esports back in the day when they would only kind of like good explosive play around like maybe 30 seconds left. But for them, it's kind of like just staying away from those initial hits of the utilities, from the blinds, from the suppression. And then finally when they decide on a site, they just quickly go onto a site and quickly establish that dominance onto the site as well. And I'm feeling that in terms of Griffin Esports, the rotation is a little bit too slow when it comes to this.
Seems like for Griffin, they're just getting caught out by the initial wave of X64. And you mentioned it, they're just unable to give themselves a chance to try and slow it down per se. They can go for the rotations if they get that intel between the KO and the Sova, but more often than not, they're okay, we're gonna try to hold this as a solo, try to make this work and catch out X64. It's not happening as X64, not only do they barrel down towards these sites, right, but they have the utilities to help to do so with the Astra, with the Fade, the KO. So many ways for X64 to make their lives easier, and usually this is the entry. Prowler, Boombot, Showstopper, and here we go with a 1-for-1 trade, but GF and Griffin are holding.
Oh man, Fat BB tried to make something happen with those blades. Unfortunately gets shut down by Wellins. Was not expecting that everyone was just pretty much ready and waiting for him. He had no choice but to move forward and make something happen. He was stuck in a little corner there. But coming here, Burger King gonna get caught out here by Locke, and Fung getting one more as well. And finally, the last member left alive is just running for his life onto B-side. They're hoping to at least just get a plant, but there's already someone waiting for him on B-side. It's gonna be Locke M. He's already on the site here. No idea where he's gonna be coming from. Wire Select still waiting onto mid-side. Wellins gonna try to just clear out the area, but Locke M sees him and immediately just gonna end the round, bringing them to a 3-point.
Yeah, I'm checking out Griffin Esports right now and their timings, and what I see is they're taking cues from X64. They're now expecting for the Prowler to lead into basically the Duelist of Agonize playing the entry. They're understanding that if we can actually just stay away from where this raise is gonna go, even if we get bit by a Prowler, if we have another person, we might have the drop on the initial entry points of X64, and that's what happens. Griffin Esports, they were prepared this time on that A side. They didn't need too much of the rotations because they already had the anticipation to begin with. Still, Griffin, a bit more to do if they want to tie things up, get that intel early here for Locke M. Now that X64 is playing for mid, bit of a lurk for Burger King. Gets spotted by the Alzo right now. Fat Baby almost going for the shot, but the rendezvous to get them out. And while this happens, X64 already getting the market for themselves.
Locke M here is going to be agonized with that opening really, really fast, but suddenly taking the satchel there and getting Fat Baby straight in the face. Agonized with 3 wires, like going down, despite the fact that he actually got a pick. For now, Fung gets caught out here by Wellins. This is a very, very clean round as Simon finds Sing as well. Great way of taking the site very quickly and systematically, I might add.
Yeah, the man named after fast food forcing the slower road safe, in all honesty. Burger King, the fact of the matter is, if Griffin Esports actually got that kill, they could have used more of main and beyond to try and get the wraparound against Griffin Esports, but X64, they have one guy on the lurk, but they're still playing that execute. They're still moving forward. And that's what's really impressive to me, because this squad knows no fear. They went straight into middle. They decided that this is the angle that they could take to go to that B side. And as soon as they had market control, that was really the most decisive blow versus Griffin Esports, because the Sova wasn't ready. Jet ill-prepared the scope on in at that time. X64, these guys just so quick.
Yeah, one of the quickest in terms of taking sites that I know. And I think it's because they know or actually have an idea that for Griffin Esports, they're a little bit slow when it comes to rotations. It's best for them to try and get information first, have a feel on how exactly they want to do this before finally exploding onto the site. And we always see that whenever they get a site there, they're so quick to quickly put themselves near the areas where they should be in terms of defense. Regardless, I'm really curious to know what exactly Griffin Esports talked about during that break, because at this time, they are with this 3-point deficit. I think because of their, I would say the title as well is at stake as one of the best teams over there in Hong Kong, Taiwan. They want to see what they can do to go against this team. For now, for Burger King, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, because I was just so...
Regardless, I was gonna say for Burger King, him playing on that initial B main area has given him a lot of value because it just shows him where the upper might be whenever Siufat BB decides to play aggressive. Regardless for now. No, quite not any value just yet. Has the information. Wellin does find Sing, but that blind is not gonna allow anyone to get any value or at least swing out just yet.
You were just saying a while ago, right? Griffin Esports, they have a reputation, but we've seen Taiwan Hong Kong. That title shifts time after time. Wire Select, though, beating Burger King up close and personal, allows Lock M to pick up a gun. The Prowler is looking for a target, and X64, they're hunting for blood yet again. Lurk, though, for the Astra. Simon, a nice position towards top mid, but as it stands, it's Spirit MVP, really one of the biggest MVPs of this X64 roster. Because of his Prowlers, because of his utility, it just enables X64 to hit the green light and go.
I really have to wholeheartedly agree. How he uses his utils has been phenomenal for giving his team all that space. Agonize does not realize there's someone there, but he gets one, but not quite enough for two. It's good enough for a kill with the Stinger. Now they already secured the site. Gonna use that haunt just to give them an idea where everyone's gonna be. A little bit late on that shock dart over there. Door will be broken. Recon bot gonna find Agonize in return, but doesn't really matter because he's a little bit faster on that initial reaction. Fire Select already down, and Lock M will be following suit as they go to a 7.4 away from Griffin Esports.
Isn't that the perfect term for it? A little bit late. X64 is both figuratively and literally a step ahead of their competition right now. Fast on the rotates, fast on the action, and it still goes back to how they basically play follow the leader, and that leader is usually the Prowler. Spirit MVP, his name says it all. He's so crucial to the X64 executes. And this time, with 4 ultimates, X64 looking to just make a power play towards B side. Griffin, they're expecting this. They're actually playing off site, even into the market. Immediately, a smoke is there. But where does the showstopper go? That's my biggest question. Who will he find? The suppress, though, is going to be the value here, courtesy of Griffin Esports. They're going to play the retake instead, Cash.
Yeah, but it's gonna be Lock M with the opening on to Burger King. That's one of the sentinels out of the way. Aldrin gonna be used just to give them a little bit of idea. Shufat BB just waiting for that information to come through. Now Fung as well just gonna be pushing out forward, gonna be just dashing on site for Shufat BB. And I don't know if Simon knows that he is actually already inside of the middle side boathouse. He's playing inside the smoke. He's playing the smoke criminal game here. Simon does get tagged, but does it really matter? I don't know. They know he's inside there. Swings out. Simon gets 2 before finally stopped down, but Agonize finds YR Select in return. Need to be careful of those smoke criminal plays. And suddenly Lock M, last player standing, spots out one inside of Boathouse, and the other one, where are you exactly? It's 2 Pearson on the site itself, but Agonize once again showing why exactly he's the best duelist.
That was huge from Simon, and I'm just concerned for Griffin Esports by this point. The latter retake, more of a desync. They already had the advantage. If you're gonna go for a 5v5 retake, I guess the best answer usually is to actually find if there's a lurk or not. Make it a 5v4, have that man advantage.
He was playing inside the smoke. Simon was in there, and I was just surprised that but no one decided to check inside.
Yeah, that's a concern right now for Griffin Esports. They're losing out to X64 and their aggression. If it's not an aggressive angle, it's an ambitious one, like using the utilities. Flash right now, but the Hunter's Fury is perfectly placed for the first shot. Can it lead to a kill?
Ooh.
Yes, it does. Spirit MVP
That's
is
huge.
gone. And this time, X64 in the last round of the first half, gonna be tested if they can play entry without the fade.
Ooh, immediately Sing gonna get 2-1 with the fragment and 1 with the Guardian. That's huge. Now without Spirit, it's very, very hard for X64 to really play off of information. They're basically getting onto the site completely blind. Agonized here onto the mid side, onto Catwalk. YR Select is rotating there, but I'm not sure if he actually did spot out one there in the area, waiting for the pop flash here. They have an idea. At least Sing does know that someone will be toward tree, but no one is moving just yet. Lock M playing here from the window side. Who's the baby waiting in the window? It's Sing! Does he spot anyone, though, is the question.
Oh, I was just waiting for it to be the Tash KTV era. And well, it only took a first half. Agonize though, finding Lockham with the bow and arrow out. It will be a 2-for-2 trade at the end, but Shootfat BB does not disappoint. Griffin Esports, that time around, they caught X64 coming in transit, and at least they get the round. So I guess third MVP, crux of the strategy, but from what I saw in that last round, blessing and a curse a bit for X64. These guys are so gung-ho that they just go in, and it does allow Griffin Esports, if they can predict the path right and set up accordingly, they can shut it down as easily as they can, since the motion and the pace that X64 takes is very, very aggressive, and they notice when they're advancing and going for the site.
I have to say though that getting a 4-8 is not necessarily a bad half for Griffin Esports here. It's a pretty good one, decent. Very, very viable for them to make a comeback. Knife gonna be immediately thrown out there, not gonna get any value at least from that side. Regardless, they're holding on to top cat, trying to get some information to see who exactly is playing out on mid side. Because we saw from earlier, I think what they're trying to kind of like attest here is that we always see them play mid earlier. Are we gonna be seeing them do the same? Shootfat BB moving into the thick of it, into 3 area, and Simon gets caught off guard, but it's not gonna be a trade there. And Lockham getting one more in return. Shootfat only with 20 HP left. He's already on the side. His teammates a little bit slow when it comes to catching up on that, but Singh does find Agonize in return, so that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, you say it, 4-8 still doable, and if they get this pistol, it's even easier for Griffin Esports to catch on up. Aldron now for the scout. They know they're coming from the rafters by this point. X64, what else can they do? Jenny being used by Sync for cover, but look down in hell. As soon as you drop down, there will be demons looking to just drag you down with them even more so. 2-for-1 trade, but it's Griffin who come out ahead. 5-8, they're looking to wrap things up here in the second half.
Really, really good round for them as they go to 5-8. Their attack looking very, very convincing as the way they take the site, the way they kind of communicate with each other. And seeing that, this is what I talked about in terms of Shootfat BB. He ran onto the site without any information. He is just very, very capable of taking care of himself. His idea is to get that space, and that's exactly what he intends to do. Now, I gotta ask you a question. Why exactly is the site my favorite map?
Why? Because there's a gelato nearby?
How did you know?
Oh, come on. You already know you like the sweet things, Tash. That's no surprise to me. You know, I don't need to even see you in person and just call, like... Well, you know, if you actually go here, we'll go check out all the ice cream places.
Hell yeah, that's exactly what I love to see. But you know, I love to see Shootfat BB doing his job once again as Jewel is already onto the site. Moving in with the Aldrone. Look at the sprays coming in from full. What on earth was that? Yes.
You're so hyped up about them taking an empty site.
Yes.
Yeah, well... I agree with you to some aspects. Shootfat BB does go in as per usual. That is his whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And if there were people there, that would have been exciting. But the thing is, this is the second round of the second half. X64, they went for the 50-50. Stack one site, and if it's the other site they're hitting, well...
Oh, it's a shorty.
Yeah, they're kind of screwed, but let's see if they can even get some kills here.
Fragment gonna be clearing out that area. For now, they had to throw and break so many different utilities. Lock M running to the backside here. We're not seeing a push just yet. Any anti-frags? Whoa, it's gonna be Agonized. Burger King, 1 kill each. Fong gonna find Wellid in return, but everyone will be going down the spike because they know next round is when it gets real.
Yeah, they need the money, and they are gonna get the buys this time around. X64 at least getting a few kills helps them out in the scheme of things. Watch Griffin though. This is now where we figure out if they can actually start making that comeback really happen or not. In terms of history, I think Griffin Esports a bit more successful on their attacking side. Not the best stats overall, of course, because they have seen so many struggles on this map in the past. But maybe this time, with that new initiator duo to help out Shootfat BB, that might be the answer as they go into another round.
Not too sure if the scan managed to catch out Burger King over there. But it looks like for a lot of the time here for Griffin, they have full control of this grass or at least garden area here. They're just able to just move around as much as they want. Why are Select gonna break that haunt? It was a very nice haunt, honestly. And if it was used properly, they can actually see the whole area uninterrupted. Now for Shootfat BB, he's gonna be trying to take his time. They have no clue where exactly all these players might be because the only information they had was that haunt over the mid area.
Yeah, well... Despite that, Griffin Esports, they're still gonna go for that A site anyway. Lockham waiting in the middle, but the rest of X64 actually deciding to go for a two-prong attack. Pressure towards the doorway even as they throw the knife towards 3. Griffin Esports though, they're all on site, looking to place it by Jenny. Shufat BP also gonna be down in hell, but X64 is anticipating that with a star in hand. Can Griffin hold the line? X64 looking for the execute. A stellar flash though from Sing leads to 1. The scan comes in and Wellens will take advantage. 2 already for the KO of the defense. Spirit MVP, a perch here towards main even, but Fung is trying to hide behind enemy lines. Can he stay alive? The double swing comes from X64. Well timed there to clear things out. 4v2 because 4v1. It's all left now to Lock M, but he can't find the spike, and it's X64 who nicely retake a site.
That was all Spirit, honestly. Despite the fact that there was a flash up there, that Haunt gave them all the information for hell. All he had to do was just spray on the top side, find Shufat BB, and then suddenly the whole area in front of them was clear except for the 2 players playing on A main. Now, the idea is, I think, I just have to say, Spirit MVP has just been huge and phenomenal when it comes to just kind of setting up, giving them these information, these plays in terms of how he uses Prowler, his haunts as well.
Yeah, it's just that whole old saying, set them up and knock them down, agonize. Knocking it down so well too, so quick on the executes, whether it's the attack or the defense. But also give props to Wellens. He's able to just be that stable force here for X64. Not only that, a bit of an unsung hero. Sometimes he throws out his utility towards the angles where Griffin isn't, just for confirmation. So X64, there's a reason why these guys are so secure about their pushes, and that's because they get the amount of intel that they need in the first place, thanks to the initiators that they have. Speaking of intel, here we go again. Spirit MVP, does he catch that someone's here towards that B side? Maybe the Prowler might have locked onto 1 or 2 of them, but it's not really that confirmed yet.
I think what's great here about Griffin Esports is that perhaps this cut-off sound is them just trying to make sure that they can at least use or at least get them to waste 1 or 2 of their utilities, giving them a little bit more space, so it's not that oppressive flash comes through as well, just to give some space to Shufat BB, and that Prowler will just allow them all the space they need. Immediately, Fung is already on the site, flashing onto the area here. It's going to be a complete empty site for them just to take, and it's just ripe for them for the taking. Now, for the post plants here, you can see everyone is kind of like cluttered and mostly toward the side of lane instead of playing on the other side. But look at where Lock M is, all the way on the other side, trying to catch someone mid-rotation, but Burger King's gonna stop that from happening. Sing playing this very aggressive close angle, as Wellens as well, not able to get the information. Everyone is just inside small area. It's very, very scary when you think about it. Knife gonna be coming through the suppression, and that's suddenly why our selects utils are just not able to be used for a little while.
Yeah, names are flipped from a scenario in the other rounds before, but Virus like with a takedown. Oh, Spirit MVP and Agonize there to get the kill. Speedway is controlled now by X64, and with that comes the high ground. 2v1, all left now to Funk. Can he hold the line? Is able to fight in front, but not behind him. Agonized is there just to go for the backstab, and X64 do to make it to time. Yes, they do, with barely half a second to spare.
Personally, it's just about taking that space, and because Griffin Esports did not have the time to take out more space other than what they have on the site itself, it's a little bit hard when you are getting clipped in from so many different angles. I mean, yes, I think the idea for Lock M to go over there onto Top Cat to find someone on the mid rotate was a good idea, but I think in the grand scheme of things, not having one more person on the site itself may just be a little bit less firepower for them compared to X64.
I don't mind the lurk. I think though maybe he should have played towards main instead. I get the top mid, but if you don't have something maybe like the operator, it's a bit difficult to play that out. And the thing is, that was the scenario a while ago. I mentioned it as basically Agonize is cleaning up house.
Agonize with 3!
It's a gun
What
by
on
round.
earth? He just goes out, but Fung gonna stop him from going forward here. Fung final person standing. Very, very quickly going to 11. Sorry for cutting you off. That was just huge.
I mean, it's a stinger round, so I kind of get why he's just able to hold close and win it. I was just saying that X64, when you watch how they're basically dealing with some of the scenarios Griffin had to do a while ago, it's just so much more efficient. It's just so much more effective, and all in all, it still boils down to the fact that they're willing to push as far as they can. They wouldn't have that backstab if that raise didn't trust his fellow teammate to be able to buy enough time or win the duel outright. And in that case, right, it was the close hold from Agonize, and here he goes yet again, but this time Shufat Baby shuts him down here, Tash.
It's huge because that's huge firepower now out of the way, and suddenly you see a halt in terms of aggression coming in from X64. That knife trying to get some value, but look at how far away Griffin Esports is compared to the entrance. It's very, very far. They're still trying to figure out where exactly they want to hit, trying to get a feel of how many people is on the A side here. No commits just yet. They really want them to kind of like overheat or perhaps get a little bit antsy, push out, just to kind of get that one more pick for them to run onto site. Look at those pings there. They want to go toward A if possible.
Yeah, at least Griffin Esports, they have the chance to try and go for that tree control if ever, but instead, it's all about that main. I think they're pinging also just to warn them that these guys, they're probably holding towards trade. Someone's gonna be over at Garden, so watch out for that doorway as much as possible. Astra Star's also in the way. X64, they're relatively prepared to slow down Griffin Esports if need be.
MVP does get tagged there in terms of the recon, but no one gonna get tagged out in return for that Prowler. The knife does find the jet regardless, but for Shufat BB, he's just trying to move up forward there. Gonna immediately find Wellins as he's trying to move away to safety. Immediately, he's already on the site, just dashing forward. But look at that, each player getting one each right now as the plan comes through. And for now, I think for Burger King, is the best thing for him to do is just cannot go for safety.
Snack time for Burger King. Griffin
Yeah,
Esports.
it's time for a burger.
Yeah,
it's time.
Again, so I realized I asked you what you wanted from Burger King. I'd say have you ever had like hash browns from Burger King? They're really good. They're like small bite-sized versions of them.
I've never had them before, and now I have to have them. Why did you tell me this?
It gives you a reason to come over if ever. But then again, now that's Griffin Esports taking the round. 7-11 gonna be the score line, pretty convenient for them. I think right now, when I watch the Griffin Esports execute, yet again, it enables you Fat BB, you can clean up house. X64, that time, caught with their bats down, but it's still a bit of a margin to go for. Can Griffin tie things up? One player to really notice though is Agonize still here. It's hash 24 takedowns. This raise has just been popping off. It's really usually the case for some of these duelists from China that they go over to Taiwan, Hong Kong, and they're given a scene, they're giving a stage to perform.
Yeah, for Agonize, it's been huge for him. Every time he goes into a site, it's always been 2 to 3 picks, and it's just been very, very phenomenal and huge in terms of taking up space. That's a fake teleport just to kind of keep them on their toes, regardless for Wellins. He's just holding on to the knife, not willing to commit just yet, because we've seen what happened earlier when they were actually kind of baited into using their utilities early. They closed the door, and this is good, because if they do break it to get onto the site, they won't have that door anymore for the post plant. And I think their suspicions are that they are going to be going toward B site, which is why everyone left B and left only one person, just Burger King, on the B main site. But that Aldro, I don't think he actually heard it just yet. He may have an idea that it might be someone there, but for Burger King, he ain't moving.
Yeah, he ain't moving, but it's dangerous if a knife gets thrown his way. Let's not forget there's still a KO on the side of Griffin Esports, but that off is getting ready. There we go. There you have it. No command.
Gets it.
What a shot though by Burger King, but can he escape in time? Onto the side here, Tash. The great escape of Burger King, but Griffin Esports are just locking on his door. Second one for Burger King. It's gonna be now Spirit MVP cleaning up house. 3 versus 1 effectively. It's all up the wire select, but Burger King catches him one more time. And X64, that was a situation where they could have completely fallen on apart, but they go to map point instead.
Burger King's burger break gave him so much value and motivation. He not only was suppressed, he managed to get one as the smokes went down, runs away with his life intact, repositions, and it gets one more pick before his teammates finally got there. What an anchor!
What an anchor indeed. I misread that last kill. as far as I know, Burger King got the first frag through the smoke right, and he also shut down the KO with the null command. No time there for Griffin Esports to pick him up because the rest of X64 basically came out of walls and they're ready to swarm towards that side. This is X64 showing how much they can set the pace towards this game, and too fat Bibi, you can't get away with that. Finally, the paranoia comes. Griffin Esports also unleashing the Hunter's Fury. It's sitting there holding close, looking to close that doorway, lock, and providing cover to even up the odds. But X64, they're on that high ground, getting ready for the retake.
Don't have any problem doing playing retakes. Nightfall just to aid them. Flash comes out as well. Space come through. Unfortunately, Sing was not able to get a lot of value. Finally gets a wallbang onto Spirit MVP. That's gonna be huge. Regardless for the Flash, he's just gonna wait and try to use that knife onto the bottom side. Does get 3 agents with that suppress. Eats a little bit of damage from those pain shells. Fong does find an Agonize. Fong with 3 already, bringing them to an 8-12, and they live another day.
It's in his name. It's in his name. That's a triple kill guarantee. It's gonna happen from Fung eventually. Griffin Esports, they make it work. The most important part of that whole round was the fact that they kind of stemmed X64 from actually peeking towards that rafters while the plant was happening. They caught the perfect timing towards that A site. And we've noticed this happen. Shufat BB, sometimes he's that sacrificial lamb. It's the rest of the roster looking to follow on up. And if they're looking to play that way, where it's the duel is just making space exclusively, and the paranoia is for the second wave, then there's a chance for Griffin Esports to be that latter threat in these rounds.
Smoke is just making it really hard for him to get onto the side. Already Sufat BB inside of the Cloudburst. Not going to be a spotter out there, but the Prowler does give him all the information he needs. Regardless, sprays come through. His teammates are a little bit kind of disconnected from him, but Fung already on the side finds Simon and immediately taking his space underneath of Hell. So what Sufat was just a distraction before finally Agonize takes him down.
Yeah, same situation, different sites, and it leads to an A-site bamboozle for Griffin Esports. X64, I don't believe though they have the best guns right now. They caught out Sufat BB, so that can be something picked up here by Agonize. But beyond that, Spirit MVP and the rest of the crew, they need to play this as close as possible. A nice check towards mid, but Sing with a better gun. Agonize though has the Phantom in hand. Here comes Fung yet again, just really picking up the pieces of Griffin Esports and their rounds. Lock M down below, beautiful scan, well into the ball. But Burger King, what was that? A double patty surprise with the tour de force. Could have gotten a third, but Fung 3 yet again puts the 3 to his name. A triple kill on the board again and again. Griffin Esports still alive.
Oh man, Fung is as though his third eye open and he went Super Saiyan 21-13. Look at that KDA far ahead. We saw Lock M was the player who was on top earlier, but Fung had no problem just kind of like going ahead. Fung this time around, it seems like for a lot of the rounds he's getting those, as you mentioned before, 3 kills, 3 kills, 3 kills, and it's all because that he was able to play off of the information his teammates were able to get, whether it be from Sig or whether it be from Lock M. He immediately responds to it because it feels like for Shufat BB, he's only able to, he's kind of limited in terms of what he can do right now, because if he gets onto the site, usually by the time he gets on the site, he will already have been knocked out of the way. He's not really waiting for his teammates, but for Agonize, he wants to play aggressive here, finds Fung. Very, very scary situation now because they have no smokes.
I think for Fung, he was a bit too ambitious there. Shufat BB could have peeked with him, but in the end, the small disconnect allows X64 to get that first kill. Now, this is a bit of a problem for Griffin Esports because Fung, you mentioned it, no smokes, but also he's just been stepping up for the past few rounds with the loss of their duels early. Boombot now looking for information. Aldrone is there too. This basically forces Griffin Esports now to rethink their plans. Perhaps here, a rotate towards the middle for Sufat BB, as well as the KO can open up this A site. Sufat BB looking for the flank. Problem is the star is ready there, and we get the lockdown into play. This is just really Griffin Esports trying to go for the punish, but X64, they might decide to advance. Griffin though is there in position. This is dangerous for anyone on A side. They get away though with it as Sing will fall. 3v4 Cosmic Divide now for X64, setting up a wall.
Fire Select just kind of put in that bot just to give some information. That Shock Dart does tag onto Spirit MVP. 22 HP left, just waiting for someone to push through. He is going to be able to see that gun barrel first with 14 seconds to go. It seems almost impossible, but here comes the blades from Shufat BB. 10 seconds to go. Wire Select and Shufat BB get one each. And right now for Shufat, they do hear the op push through. Right now, 3 seconds. They need to get that kill. Plant thankfully does come through. And now Burger King, we've seen this man do miracles, but for now the knives a little bit too strong there for Shufat BB, and they live to go up to 10 points.
Yeah, Griffin Esports, that was a perfect adventure towards that A side. Shufat BB, we talk about him and we talk about how he just does not know those limits, as he's willing to push the envelope and push even deeper than anyone can really do. That rotation alongside Sing, it was actually really smart. Sing, he could have really stepped up if he got a few more of those kills, but the fact that he applied that pressure towards door already allows someone like Shufat BB to get even deeper on the inside. And from that point on, it was just a nice cleanup by Griffin Esports. A two-pronged attack from the back to the front. It's X64, though, still a point away from winning out this map. The only problem is not the best economy, so a few half buys to put some pressure as Griffin rotate towards B.
Just running for their lives there, leaving only their Astra waiting. Simon might have an idea that they might be hitting B, because if you look at it, look at how far away they've pushed up onto A main. That flash does come through, gonna clear out immediately, gonna put on the star. It's gonna rush through right now. Cloudburst to give a little bit of, I would say, cover. And for now, Simon, I don't know if they're aware that he's inside of the smoke. Simon was able to do some crazy plays just now, just playing smoke criminal. Fire Select, making sure that no one will be there for the rotates, or at least the flanks.
Yeah, Griffin have gotten towards that B side. X64 looking for at least an opening or two, but keep an eye out on the Killjoy towards main. Has the setup with the turret. Wire Select trying to at least maybe bait out a few players or wait for the call from the rest of the roster. Agonize, though, he wants to check this. There we have the action. Blast back allows Agonize to stay away from the last bit of the spray. Now he's moving forward towards Wire Select, and Agonize able to outplay the Killjoy this time around. It's 5v4. X64 with the advantage. They also go for the showstoppers here, and Burger King will get the kill. It's Sing, though, getting on the board. Agonize still alive, looking for the final target. Shufat BB alive and kicking, standing here by both halves. Burger King trying to find the angle, and he might be the king here of the kingdom, but can he get the defuse in time? Not likely. It will still be Griffin Esports keeping alive on a sense.
Oh my word, what an insane play. Burger King just so good with his shots there, landed. It's just so unfortunate that in terms of timing, it was just not on their side. But look at Agonize now, reaching 30 bomb compared to the other members of Griffin Esports, with Fung lagging behind with 21 kills in his pocket. Agonize again and again, showing him why exactly he's the best on the Rays in this match in particular. How he takes up space, how he just kind of like just goes through, and how exactly he uses satchels is just a tribute to why exactly he's very comfortable on that agent.
Like, you know he's gonna push. You know he's gonna go for you. That's the thing. But where will he come from? An agonized, truly an agonizing experience to play against a man like this. Burger King, though, still ready to fight. Operator in hand, but we've seen him get away with this before. Can he do so yet again? Sing, though, over onto the corner. Burger King's not gonna see this coming, and Sing will get that takedown to allow Griffin Esports that entry towards that B site. Weldon finds Wire Select on the lurk in response. 4v4, X64. If they want to wrap this up already, this retake needs to work.
Oh, Simon still fights Shufat BB regardless. The stars do come down, but Wellens gonna get that revive from Spirit MVP, no problem. Gives them a little bit of a man advantage. Agonize rushing through. That pain shell is gonna just clear out the bottom area. It's gonna be a little bit annoying, but Lock Ebb was primed and ready. Lock Ebb will go down, but Simon finds Sing in return. 1 versus 3, 4. What are you gonna do? He gets 2. Will he get 1 more? Yes, he does! He clutches! We're going to overtime!
The triple kill king. How does Fong do it? Well, the magic happens yet again for Griffin Esports. He put him by the sights, and that is enough for the win. We go to overtime. I just can't believe it. So many players stepping on up here in this matchup, and this is just game 1, but the thing is, that's been the storyline of the Taiwan Hong Kong side for so long. Who can be the star that shines brightest? Who can just will their team to that absolute victory? Who can outplay one another even on the micro sense? Well, we'll find out as we go for more, Tash. What a first map.
What a comeback from Griffin Esports! Just when you thought X64 had it in the bag, it just really surprised you. Shufat BB, very aggressive at mid. Surprise shots thrown out, but no one gets dinked. And suddenly we see a reposition once again from Griffin Esports. Now just remember, they're on the defense this time around, which is why they're just trying to show their presence there in those areas, not trying to dissuade them from pushing up or taking that space. Immediately gonna know that they're already onto the site. Spirit MVP taking quite a bit of damage from the Nanoswarms, whereas like Turtle shelling behind dies, but this little beanie does get shown off here. Lockcam gonna trade out, finds Burger King in return. Simon is quite low, so it might be a different story, but Shufat BB here just waiting, having his teammates' backs as they cross through.
Yeah, the concern for X64 already chipped in terms of the HP. There we have the flash and play. Fungdo and Sing yet again just cleaning up house left and right. Finding those targets. No one now on site. Allows Fung to just go for the defuse anyway. And Simon says, stop. Will Griffin Esports listen? Absolutely not. The defense takes the win. And it's Griffin now after everything is said and done. Getting to the match point scenario.
Match point.
Now Griffin going on to the attack. Earlier, I think it felt like for attack that X64 was looking a little bit stronger in terms of how they take the site and how aggressive they go. But Griffin as well showing that they were actually really good at attack as well. Now, if say that they get this attack, it's going to go on to Griffin's favor. And honestly, I was quite surprised that X64 didn't manage to clinch that in the end. Regardless, as we go into this round, once again, Griffin trying to play it up mid-side, clearing and just getting as much information as they can. Burger King, we know that he's very sneaky. We know that he loves playing aggressive onto the main area, especially with him on the op. It's very scary.
Yeah, it's always a threat here as Griffin Esports now. They're stacking heavily towards the cubby. And here we go with Melons. Gets a bit of that info. That's a nice surprise, especially towards the Jets. But here comes Burger King, and one more time, give him the op, and he won't disappoint. Stacking it up with the frags. 2 already for Burger King. Does this dissuade Griffin Esports from going A-site? No. But the numbers, they're piling on here for X64 instead.
LockM will be the one playing this very nasty corner, that fragment, just to give them a little bit of angles. And immediately a trade comes through from LockM and Spirit. As it's 2-on-4 here, Wire Select is gonna be, it's just flashed out. That's pop and flash is nasty. Sing gets to, but not before he starts by Lins. So we're gonna go again.
Oh, yeah, it's just that kind of game that never ends. X64, stay alive. And just the impact really of having a dedicated chamber player, by the way. Dash, what has Burger King played all throughout this tournament?
Just chamber.
Just chamber.
The only
just
thing he plays is chamber. And I think
just chamber.
Okay. So I have a saying for a restaurant in Malaysia. If you are
is it Burger King?
Not Burger King, but it's any
come
type of
on.
food. It's any type of food, okay?
Okay,
if you
okay.
are gonna sell one type of food, if you are gonna play one type of agent, you better be good as hell on that. And he's actually delivering this.
Does he deliver through Grab or Food Panda?
I don't know, man. Let's see who our sponsor next next tournament.
I don't know too. Oh man, but it's true. How many times have we seen him, the operator supremacy, when he is in position? He has gotten away with bloody murder despite witnesses and a suppress happening in front of him. And in that round, yet again, just cool, calm, and very collected to hit those shots. Now, I gotta ask you, Tess, what do you think will break this overtime? We've seen for Griffin, it has just been step-ups from the core unit, here from X64, explosive action from Burger King, as well as Agonize. So, who's gonna give first?
It's really hard to say because Fung is just really stepping up, but for Agonize, he's just so good at taking up the space and popping people's heads. So that's a 2-on-1 combo here. Regardless, let's see how what exactly goes because Burger King has been phenomenal when it comes to kind of like being the unmovable sentinel. Oh, this. I love this. The Odin alongside the Recon. Very classic play here. But I don't think he's going to be doing it anytime soon. He's just waiting for any sound cues before he actually commits to it. Regardless, we do hear the stars actually getting put there onto the A site. But for now, no site commits just yet. But it looks like it might just go straight up to B.
X64 is trying to use that silence before anything else, but the spam comes and Lock M forces the footsteps now of X64.
Oh, he
the
saw
HP of Agonize is so low, and even better Bolt to get the intel, and now the shock darts try to come. Simon so low, the raise of Agonize so low too. Griffin Esports have been so strong at chipping away the HP values of X64,
Oh my God,
and now the
Lock
Odin
M.
is prepared on the boathouse. 1 for 1. It allows X64 to step out of a sight. Agonize actually playing in the middle too. Big surprise there for Griffin Esports. And then can they actually clear that out? Here we go now. The pit again for X64 to use Griffin Esports. One more time, a bit of deja vu to try and retake.
Agonize does go down here. Great crossfire coming through. They're going to be switching out the weapons just to give themselves a little bit of space on how exactly they want to play this. But without their player to get the information, it'll be hard. Burger King either gonna find Sing, but Fong gets one, not for getting traded out by Wellin. Shufat BB, the only player left alive here. We do hear the null command come through. Shufat BB gonna immediately find Wellins, but Burger King immediately reacts. Great crossfire and teammates. Gonna get that stabilizer as well, just for fun. Why not?
Why not? You know, you did job. That's basically a pat on the back in game.
I love you.
Great
Thank
job.
you very much.
And you gotta love the initiators again of X64. Look at the assist Spirit MVP and Wellens have. We've been talking about how they have enabled Agonize to play those entries, how it has enabled someone like Burger King to actually get away with a few things here and there too. And just because of that, X64, they do it yet again. I do like the call though that you put Agonize towards the middle. Griffin Esports did not expect that. I think though what we really notice for X64 is the fact that they're able to still confidently barrel do no matter what the odds are. Prowler here, also for the scout, yet again, Spirit MVP, trying to check outside of main of what's going on. Griffin though, a little bit of faux pas, slower play this time towards the middle. You still have to be careful if you're looking to make that rotation towards a site, because here we go again, Burger King, a glass cannon with the operator.
Sing has been phenomenal when it comes to those, I think, multi-frags. He's been really good for those opening picks as well. I think he takes a lot of pressure off of Shufat BB's shoulders. But in this situation here, I mean, come on, when you kind of like want to play this map, that's which why I was always saying that I prefer seeing a fade to see how oppressive it can be, especially as Spirit uses the haunt. That decay just really helps when it comes to chipping away not only the HP but also that armor. Regardless for Lock M here, gonna at least get some value. Unfortunately, that knife is not gonna allow him to get a lot of information. Wire Select will find Agonize in return. He was tanking 2 utilities just to get that kill.
It survives anyway in Griffin Esports. After that takedown, they force the rotations of X64 and look at Griffin go. Not only that, YR Select, he was the one in a bit of danger. Simon will go down instead. Spirit MVP now sees the turret, knows the killjoy is on the opposite end. Perhaps they can put the pressure towards Market, but the problem is Fung is on the lurk in the middle, and Griffin Esports, a nice maneuver to make it toward that B site. It's all up to the chamber of Burger King now. Has the rifle rather than the operator, but this should be a done round, and this should be another overtime unless we get the biggest heroics. Look at him go into the sightlines of another one for Griffin Esports. Burger King, a nice reaction. But beyond that, here, Tash, there's a lockdown, and I think we go for more in this game.
It's just been like such a push and pull, tug of war between these two teams here. There I go, Wire Select this round. Big value with the 4K. His utilities have been very phenomenal that particular round as well, just to buy some time. As we go 14-14, do you remember how many overtimes we saw during Onyx Esports versus Boom in LCQ?
What do you mean? I wasn't there.
You didn't watch the game?
I refuse to answer that question while on broadcast.
Oh man,
You know, Tash,
that was actually
I
one
have
of the longest
have a
overtimes.
life. I have things to do if I don't have work, okay? Sometimes I do have time, you know, to check things out.
Yeah, totally understand.
Yeah, but you know, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about this game. Yeah,
Yeah.
Agonized again.
Which is why I was
Charge.
asking, how many rounds in a row which this overtime is gonna go. We've seen Onyx Esports take one of the most overtimes I've ever seen in one day. Lock M just gonna take a lot of damage because of those pain shells, and Spirit MVP gonna go down.
You could have just answered it outright. You could have just told me the answer instead of reminding me that I couldn't get my visa for Ireland. But hey, whatever, right? Let's go again. Now into the round still. X64. They do get the plant in. Griffin Esports down a man. Market yet again being controlled here by Griffin. But look out for Burger King. It's always that corner towards main that these two teams like to play. A bit of the similarities. Burger King, though, does get smoked out. Timing is going to be everything if they want to beat this. And Agonize, it's a warning sign. Showstopper brings Wire Select with him to the grave. 2 versus 1 now in this situation. It's Spunk versus the world. We've seen him clutch before. Can he do so yet
they're gonna
again?
pincer him. They
Right
know where
behind
exactly
him.
where he is.
They're making a sandwich. Come on, his name is Burger King. It writes itself.
Oh,
and X64
man.
will take the lead again and will be on match point.
Your sandwich comment made me so hungry. Oh,
Reminded
man.
me of my visa, so it's just fair. You reminded me that the Malaysian passport is stronger than the Philippine passport, and that is a fact.
Oh man, regardless, I am just so shocked at the outcome just now. It looked like I think a lot of right now for Feng, there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders. So how many times do you have to take those multi-frags? How many times in a row do you have to clutch these situations? And again, he finds himself there. I'm really...
Nature of the beast.
Yeah, it's just nature.
Nature of the region.
Exactly.
It's just how we see Taiwan, Hong Kong as a whole. It's an absolute slugfest. And usually, you just have one of these teams who pops up out of nowhere and suddenly says, you know, we're going to be the ones next to watch out for. And X64 is trying to prove that now. Griffin, though, slower play. They need to make sure that this execute works. But look at X64. They're already sending in Agonize to try and play minimum towards the middle, but at least have a faster rotation towards A. Wellets is the one who will be that first contact. I'll jump for the scout here for Griffin. But of course, Shufat BB leading the charge. There we go with the knife, but Shufat's already in. Smoke is out, and Griffin Esports is going towards that side.
Look at that, Simon already with the 2 beautiful sprays through that smoke. Simon just trying to get more value, but the door will be closed onto him. They're gonna be knocking, but you know what's gonna be waiting for them. It's gonna be a lot of guns. Regardless, the Prowler gonna find someone over there in hell. The sprays come through from Sing. Pop Flash upwards, Yufat, BB, and Lock M get 1 each. Regardless of that, they're still Agonized. That NATO that should just kind of like reposition himself. Sing eating all that damage because he has nowhere to go, and Simon's gonna be coming out here. 3K already. Pocket Lock M finds Simon, and he's just gonna get bullied right there in the corner inside of hell.
Yeah, unlocked and opened here by X64. We see overtime and with X64 taking the first map versus Griffin Esports. Where did Simon get those kills? A stellar spray through the smoke. And at the very end, it was X64 who just basically willed themselves to that victory. That was just, in all honesty, Tash, peak Hong Kong, Taiwan. But the new kids on the block, X64, showing how strong they can be. The executes have been as quick as possible.
Very, very quick and very, very systematic. How exactly they take the site is the same way they play after a plant as well. Really good at that denial of time, really good at those picks. I have to say that even for X64, they're just really, really taking us off guard. See the way that Agonize plays, just enabled by his teammates, is the true epitome of teamwork. Now, if you talk about Griffin Esports, there is still the same thing that I'm seeing from VCT Apex Stage 2. Shufat BB and his teammate a little bit kind of like disconnect when it comes to coming onto the site together. I did say that Shufat BB can be a little bit impatient, but I would really like to see that Shufat BB allows his teammate to get some information first, allows the flash to come through before he dashes onto the site.
Yeah, I think that's really the case sometimes. That disconnect, is it on purpose? Is it just the desync itself? There are times where you kind of question, that actually worked. The guy made the space that allows everyone to go in, but at the same time, wouldn't you like Shufat BB to be alive or to be at least in position? Because you contrast it, right, to another round that happened when they put Shufat BB to fake towards B side. They threw the paranoia at the good time to allow him that entry. So how else can Griffin Esports get back into this? Some of the core problems that we have noticed all throughout the year still rearing its ugly head from time to time, but a few improvements I kind of have to mention yet again with this kind of team that they have right now with this roster. I think Sing is really fitting in well
Yes.
with how Sufat PBA is playing.
Lock
He has
M
been
as well.
on point. Lock M doing what he can. But then you compare it to the synchronization of X64, and it's just miles ahead for the new team on the block.
Yeah, X64 just really showing us with the firepower coming in from Agonize as well as Spirit MVP's teamwork on how exactly he uses that haunt. How many times did this haunt actually get a scan onto so many different nooks and crannies of a site, and how many times did we immediately see a reaction from either Burger King or even Agonize just to clear out those areas? Phenomenal. So many times. Usually when we see the utility come out, there is absolutely gonna be a commit. And when you hear, here comes the party from Agonize, you best be ready to run the other way, because I have not seen that man miss a single showstopper. Even if he dies, he will still get one in return.
Yeah, he still brings someone back with him to the next round. But for now, after a showcase yet again of the last bits of SEA, here we have the qualifiers. We'll be taking a break. When we return, it's still X64 versus Esports. We'll see you guys after this.
So dirty, jumper wet, so I keep it clean. Splash, splash. Hand down, man down when I come through drippin'. Back turn on the oop, I'ma catch him slippin'. Yeah, no look, don't look. Nay, dancing in the sky, boy, no hook. Serving up a big plate, what I just cooked. Yeah, that line got 8, pride got took. Yeah. And now you on a poster, they can't even coach ya. I did it for the. No look, don't look. Nay, dancing in the sky, boy, no hook. Serving up a big plate, what I just cooked. Yeah, that line got 8, pride got took. Yeah. And now you on a poster, they can't even coach ya. I did it for the culture. Yeah. You know that I got it. Yeah. You know that I got it. Yeah. All this game up in my pocket, bet that you can't stop it. You know that I got it. I want it all. Fight to the finish, and don't make you fall. Go back to beginning. You never seen this. Game is the meanest. You watch on your phone now. Can't wait till they stream this, and they watch it over and over, over and over. Reporters can't approach ya. Your teammates wanna roast ya. I did it for the culture. Reporters can't approach ya. Your teammates wanna roast ya. Did it for the culture.
Bounce. Everybody love a comeback. Gotta love a good comeback. Now you witnessing a comeback. Everybody love a comeback. Gotta love a good comeback. They say pressure bust pipes, so what's the win without a comeback? So what's the win without a comeback? Hustling every day to win. Now you win instead of comeback. I'm not the one that you should play with. Better stick with who you came with. You ain't a thug, you a plaintiff. And I might jack dangerous. Moonwalking through a jam. Thrill slap.
Slugfest there, ladies and gentlemen. We continue on with Taiwan, Hong Kong, and welcome back to the series between Griffin Esports and X64. Daxi Ratash here yet again. Final time in the SCA qualifiers until we make it to the playoffs till December. But in all honesty, Tash, if this is going to be the final series that we're going to be here for these weekends, then we're already in for a banger. That first map went to overtime again and again. It was as close as possible. Heroics from Fung, heroics from Burger King. Amazing efforts all around the teams. But in the end, it was X64 who took that win. And just to quickly recap it here, Tash, let's show that scoreline real quick and talk about the next map.
Yeah, 14-16. One of the most closest we've seen today between all of the matches. And after this, we're going to be going to Fracture. Now, Fracture is a very interesting map. It is a map picked by Griffin Esports. We talked about Fracture before. It's a very lurk-heavy map. It's a map where if someone is pushing A main, you best be pushing out from B main to catch them in that actually push, just to kind of get that pincer onto them. And taking space and holding onto the space is something that's very important as well for this map in particular. And we don't want to see another Boom Esports moment, if you remember.
I will always remember that. That I watched because I was there. I actually cast that. I actually cast that in our local language broadcast. But we're gonna be checking out the map selection again. And as you mentioned here, Tash, Griffin Esports have picked up this second map. The interesting thing is here in this tournament, they haven't decided to go for that neon style. Instead, they can run a double controller. It's a little bit different from what we usually see. And when you think about how X64 plays, right, this might be a map that can still suit them, that they're playing aggressively, that they're pushing on forward, but there are a few changes in terms of the roles when they actually decide to run Fracture.
Personally, I really liked what X64 was using on Fracture the last time around they were running it. I really like it's a very standard comp, but there's a reason why that comp is standard. We have Burger King on Chamber, we have Simon on the Neon, we have Chow B on the Brimstone, and Lin is gonna be running on the Breach, and Spirit MVP on the Sage. So now, why exactly I say that? Oh my god, a Kato!
Yeah, the cat wants to get fed, but we were working to feed the cat, and we are looking now to get into our next map, right? You already give a preview of potential rosters here for basically X64 as well as Griffin Esports. But I think one thing to take note right now is something you mentioned. The last time they played Fracture, it was Simon on that duelist role instead. It makes our amazing Agonize move over to the Brimstone instead, and I wonder how of X64. Simon did not disappoint whatsoever in that last map, especially in that last round. His kills through the smoke were paramount for X64 and their success. But here we are, Tash, Agent Select, and you can see it already. Neon being highlighted by Simon for X64. In the meantime, Griffin Esports double control, but it's Omen and the Viper with the Raze for Wire Select.
This is interesting because the last time Griffin Esports played this map, they won against NCHUVM. Now, in their lineup previously, they had Wire Select as the Raze, which you're already seeing. We had a Breach, a Viper, as well as Shufat BB on the Chamber. Now, there's a little bit of a change here, I believe. No. I mean, personally, for me, I prefer a Brimstone over an Omen for this map in particular because his mollies take up so much space. He's so great at space taking, so great at just denying that plant or defuse. Another great thing is that his smokes kind of last a long time. It's very big smokes, and Orbital Strike is just so good for clearing out huge pockets of areas. Now, opposed to what X64, as I said, this is a standard comp, and why I like this comp because it's very aggressive. You have your trademark just to stop those rotates from the backside. You have Simon on Neon able to take up space at such a short amount of time and just kind of zoom through so many different areas, especially with that ultimate. Now, for Spirit MVP as a Sage, it can go either aggressively or defensively. And honestly, I would really like to see him still on the Fade on this map in particular, but we have to see how exactly they want to play this.
Come on, it's so aggressive. You mentioned it already. I'm looking at the battle Sage just right behind that Neon running on around. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a few of these walls that he can use selfishly to allow him a better angle here and there. But this is now our second map. If Griffin Esports drop this, they are dropped out of the running, and X64 will move on. Can Griffin survive on their map pick and force a decider? Time for us to find out here very, very soon. But checking out a bit of the stats, Griffin, you mentioned it, they have beaten a team here before on Fracture in this tournament. They're running the same composition, and they're looking to prove that the Omen Viper is the answer versus the Brimstone Breach instead. Still though, both sides have the breaches, both sides have the chamber. I'm looking at X64. If they can get more of that map control, perhaps that can help them get the angles versus Griffin on the attacking side.
I'm really liking the idea of them coming in through Dish. Dish, of course, did get some changes as we move into this season of the play. It's going to be taking their time here, but look at where everyone is. They're not aware at all where exactly they're going to be coming in toward A. They even managed to get that ultimate orb as well coming onto the site. But they're like, we're just going to make some noise, see if anyone reacts to us. But for the rest, they're just... I don't know if they know.
It's a rare start to actually go Dish first. That's the thing. Everyone expects A main to be the action. If it's not A main, it's B main. But what happens here is X64 decide to be aggressive.
But they know they're in
realize
arcade.
no one's there. No one's here, but Burger King. Yet again, anchor gameplay this time, looking to be the captain of the ship of this hold. The Viper wall is there, but look at Burger King though, but Fung will find him and catch him in the act. So first blood drawn by Griffin Esports. They will take tower control from this and use that to get towards B side.
Yeah, that aftershock as well, just gonna give him some space, sorry, that fault line rather. But the plants does come through here, 4-on-3. Aftershock just gonna clear out the area. Now they didn't really plant in an area that's usual, so they didn't really matter to them. Simon already fighting Lock M in return. Simon just running and zooming onto the side. So that flash is just gonna give him a lot of value, but Wire Select just kinda crouches well into Spirit MVP 1 each, and Fong finds Agonized in return. Now Shufat VP coming in from their side, they know exactly where they are. Spirit VP gets one, Shufat gets one, Shufat gets two! And finally, they get the first round for the pistol.
Fat BB had an easier time for that second kill, just letting it spray through and get that takedown. I was impressed though by the flash theatrics of X64. You saw Wellens throw it down, and Simon was literally running at YR Select. You can't usually get away with that in a game like this, but at the same time, since he lost that duel, it's a bit of a moot point. Griffin Esports, they needed that pistol round just to give them that confidence moving forward. Now they invest, and yet again, let's see how they play this execute. I think I'm very much keeping an eye out on how the Viper wall is utilized. We saw it a while ago that they basically lined up on one side and decided to burst on through. Can X64 in the long run find ways to punish that? Let's find out.
Yep. Not gonna get any value from the Roomba coming in. At least they know that the under area is at least clear. Agonized with the shorty. We love these shorty kills. Personally, I really wanted to see Agonize still on that raise. We know that raise on this map can be pretty huge as well, but turns out it's not going to be happening. But Agonize playing this corner, he might be good for one. Wellens taking a little bit of a dink here. If you're going to turn around, he gets one. Yes, he does. We're finally going down to YR Select. And Burger King gets that one tap, gets two. Huge with the Sheriff. Not enough for three, as Lock M's going to stop the reign of terror of the Burger King.
Yeah, but I guess he's a fan of something else like McDonald's. But then again, X64 have the man advantage. They don't have the guns though. Can they actually play and execute off a stun here? Courtesy of the breach. Look at Simon go. This time tower being slowly taken. Can give him the angle, make some noise after the fault line. Lock M waiting for him to come his way, and immediately Griffin Esports, they eradicate all signs of opposition. Yet again, another showing from X64 with their prowess. Funny enough, Tash, remember that shorty?
Yeah.
The kill was basically through another guy.
Yeah. through the body. One person
Through the
tanked a
body.
little bit of damage and the other one died for his sins. Regardless, I wanted to say here was the fact that even though they won that, they lost 3 Spectres in return. Now you can see that for Griffin, they're reduced to just Stingers as well as Spectres once again. And for the side of X64, it's their bonus. And this is exactly what they wanted, that advantage in terms of guns. And we know that for X64, it seems like that they're a type of team that can really build momentum. They love going in on speed, they love getting those kills, and once they feel good, they're not afraid to just kind of go forward.
I mean, yeah, when X64 have the guns, then they're happy to make this buy round work. Griffin, in the meantime, over towards drop. You mentioned a while ago a few changes on Fracture for the past few months, really, and I think by this time, the team should be accustomed to how it's positioned this time. Well, and so look how far he's playing over at the tower. There we have now the Rolling Thunder allows Griffin Esports to actually play the entry. And not only that, set up with the Poison Cloud. Willen's trying to spray it down. Can't really find some targets. Good damage though towards Lock M. And Griffin now gets the objective and also has the Viper Spit available.
Yep, always good to have the Viper Spit Wire. Select just trying to be clearing out the area onto Sen. Lock M is just so very low. Lock M still finds Simon regardless of that 8 HP, no problem. Here comes the Aftershock as well. Agonize just gets Shufat BB. Agonize gets 2 Wire Select going down as well. But he is so very low. He has to give up that space. Lock M eventually gonna go down to Spirit MVP. And now gonna be pushing forward into the Viper's Pit. No idea where everyone is. He still finds Sing in return. There's still Decay as Fong does go down. Viper's Pit or not, they still secure the round.
Come on, the term is breached and clear, and they cleared that out so well. Spirit MVP moving over to the right-hand side, well, and just hauling his butt and going through the pit itself, finding the Viper at the heart of it. But then again, you look at Griffin Esports, and that's already a decent round for them on their bonus. They got rid of 3 players, if I remember correctly. They got the plant down. I think the only concern is they expended a number of ultimates to try and make that play work. And for Griffin this time, they're still gonna have the guns. They're still ready to fight X64 toe to toe.
Yeah. I mean, I like that skin too. It's a very pretty song. I totally get you, Spirit MVP. Look, he even has a disco ball. He's a man that loves music. We know that. Now,
Oh.
yeah. He loves
What's
music.
his favorite genre?
Death. And it's gonna be Burger
Death.
King with the first kill onto Sing.
So I'm expecting some screamo to happen from Tash one day or the other then.
Huge from Burger King. Great opening for him. I'm really liking how he plays. And that's exactly how I love to see a chamber played. Aggressive, right in front, because you know that you have that value as a chamber. For Burger King itself, or even against I would say a KO, right? He is not afraid to play aggressive.
That's the thing, Burger King has been able to just surprise many players despite an amazing name such as his. The chamber still over onto the high ground, keeping an eye out on top of the box, basically on top of these screens. Wellen's also retreating, thinking perhaps he might need to help out that A site, but instead it's a split prong attack from Griffin Esports here, trying to go for control for tower. A nice stun. Lock M will just be locked and loaded to get that takedown. Griffin now have taken control of that site. We've seen this rotation before for them, but Wellen's also expecting that to happen that way. Fung goes down. It's advantage yet again for X64, and they stalled the spike from being planted. Plus, the resurrection comes online.
Oh man, Resurrection, Shufat BB with 2. Burger King finds Wire Select in return. Time is running out. They need to rush onto the site. But for now, they have their eyes primed and ready to where they are. Get the spike. Gonna have to find some cover.
time?
But I don't think it's gonna be happening. Burger King just rushing up here. Surprise! And he's gonna go down. Not quite. It's Burger King. A little bit sharper on his toes.
Yeah, it was a little bit too late. I think around 0.1 or 0.2 on the seconds. And that's a big reason why Shufat BB just canceled it. Hearing the opponent come. And Griffin Esports, they're gonna drop another round here to X64. You gotta give your props though to Burger King and Wellens, right? Burger King, the first frag early, stopping the initial plan. But Wellens, the fact that they remember what Griffin Esports is up to, the fact that they know that tower might be the pathway for the spike to be planted, those are the kind of instances that really shows at me that the team like X64, they're learning on the fly and they're remembering very much the tendencies of their opponent round per round.
Smokes as well. I really have to say that this might be Griffin's favorite lineup, at least for the Viper wall. They love playing it. Toxin is going to go down eventually, so they're going to have a little bit of access onto the site itself. Lock M coming in from the other side. As for Agonize, he's just trying to see if he's able to get those picks coming in from tower. No one committing just yet. This kind of like stop and sound, keeping Agonize, I would say, a little bit more out and see. That's the second time he jumped out, trying to get a little bit of information. But the thing why they didn't move is because they were just waiting for the Toxins to come back online. And why our select here, I would really like to see a little bit of a rush onto the site instead of going very, very quiet. Now for Agonize, like, are you sure or not? Agonize gets one wire select, finds Burger King in return. It's a good trade, honestly, if you think about it. But he has to give up the space.
You know he's gonna push forward if he can. Orbital Strike now to fend away Griffin Esports, trying to get the plant down. The Toxins though are up yet again. There's the wall in the way. Simon now with the backstab available as he's vying for tower. Waiting for the timing though to play on that rope. Spike, sure, planted here by Griffin Esports, but they don't really have the guns into play. Rolling Thunder now the call. Spirit MVP though, stunned by the flash, and surprise, someone's right beside him. But the rest of X64, they're already cleaning up house. All left now to Lock M in a 1v3 situation. As soon as he comes out of the smoke, he just becomes a corpse instead. 3-2, X64 have taken the lead away.
Oh man, with that concuss, the blind, the smoke, the slow, not a great situation to be Wellens. Regardless, 3-2, this is actually closer than I expected it to be. And for the fact is, for X64, they're just a little bit faster when it comes to those rotations, a little bit faster when it comes to retakes, but Griffin is just doing so well when it comes to getting onto the site. They're very, very creative on how exactly they want to take an area, which is exactly the reason why they play on this map Fracture. But look at this, X64, they know that they love playing aggressive. They know that's coming here in Billy. Simon gets the overdrive, but gonna go down to Feng. Feng gets two with those sprays. It's so nasty as Lock M gets one more before getting stopped by Burger King, and Feng once again 3 to his name.
Yeah, a bit of an ego check there. X64 taken aback by Griffin Esports and their volatility on the opposite end. I do like the fact that X64, they wanted to go for that overdrive play. You have the knee and alt, why not use it? But overall, Griffin Esports, they had two plans ready for that. Not only did the Omen teleport put him in a position where he could have actually shot the Neon if he was running forward. But then again, just the biggest step up from the Viper. We have seen rather Feng just bring his team back to life if need be. And now after the dust settles, it's an easy walk towards A site for Griffin Esports.
Gonna be using that orb just to give them a little bit of space getting onto site there. And it's just free site from to come through. With only one more player to worry about, you don't have to worry too much. And I think for Wellens, are you gonna just try and commit? Are you gonna try and get a pick is the question.
A bit of the waiting game.
Overall, that's all they can do.
Swords. Yeah, that's pretty much it. X64 does Wellens have it in him to make this play work. As soon as he gets the intel that there's only perhaps one person peeking him,
oh, he knows.
I wouldn't be surprised if he backs on away from this point on, because checking stance, checking drop, no one really to
he's running up forward.
He is, but nah, he retreats. X64, they kind of have to be careful with those kind of plays. They already lost 2 immediately, with Burger King also pushing from the opposite end. By that point, Griffin Esports, they're expecting a team like X64 to play aggressive, right? So I guess that's one of the problems I'm seeing for X64. If they keep showing that they're aggressive, they might slowly but surely become a bit of a one-dimensional team. But then again, you know, they're very new. This is their first foray into competition as a squad like this. So they just have to kind of learn while these rounds are going. And we know how potent they can be, so there is that confidence for good reason.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it again, Simon did have a good run. It's just the fact that the Sing's teleport kind of like distracted him from...
Yeah, the momentum, right?
Exactly. So it threw him off rather, but Feng gonna have to give away this space because of that concuss coming through from Simon. And now for this time around, we're seeing a different approach coming in from Griffin. They want to play it a little bit slow. They want to try and get some information, get a feel of how many people is on the site first. We see Burger King here. This is a very, very aggressive angle. If someone were to swing him, it might mean death. If it's a double swing, it might be a whole different story. But I don't think we might be seeing Sing just kind of swing out and kind of try and play it offline. I mean, just to play it very, very aggressive. 1, 2, 3 here. Can we see a call at? Not quite, as the shot is not going to be landing.
Yeah, Burger King trying to line something up, but couldn't get the connection completely. Lock M taking some damage, though. And here we have it now. As soon as Griffin Esports realizes where the Chamber's position, they go towards A side instead. Paranoia to open up a bit of space towards halls. But then again, there's the wall now in the way. So you have to deal with a different kind of sentinel on the opposite end. One there with the operator and ready to teleport. Here now, the slow orb plus the barrier orb into play. I think the Rolling Thunder a little too early here from Griffin Esports, since we still have one more slow orb here for X64 rather. And look at all the time that X64 is burning in the round here.
Yeah, they are so good at just delaying them. And that Snakebite is not doing them any favors either. Wellin, he's just waiting to just rush to the draw. Surprise! Guys, I was here all along. 10 seconds to go. They're not even close to the site.
Yeah, they're saving. They're saving. That's a give by Griffin Esports. This is now one of the biggest reasons why they're running that Sage here for X64. If you don't want to deal with Burger King, sure, go ahead. Come to the site where Spirit MVP is. And yet again, how many times do we have to say it? He was an MVP on the utilities with the Fade. Right now, he just proves that even on the Sage, he can do wonders with it.
Get yourself a teammate like Spirit MVP. Great initiator, great support player. He is there to support you in your dreams of becoming the world-class duelist.
Sounds like a sales pitch, and I'm buying.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what every single duelist wants. Information, wants to be enabled. And for now, for Burger King, I love how Burger King plays these angles. He always plays the same spot over and over again. But it's usually the case, it's either if he doesn't punish someone or gets a pick, it's enough to deter Griffin Esports from coming into that area. Once again, they want to play from the side of Dish. They seem to really like that area. Yes, we did see them it work time and time again, but I think for this time, X64 is, I think, a little bit more prepared for this situation.
I'd say, though, here towards Dish, this can be effective from Griffin Esports. Spirit MVP, though, still reliable. Sing will make the trade happen. And as Simon is watching for that wall to crack after Griffin Esports showed their intentions from A main, it's Fat PB and Wellins trading blows yet again. So 3 versus 3 after everything's said and done. It's a bit of a reconvene, though, for Griffin Esports, since that spike needed someone to convoy it towards the site. Viper Spit also for cover. Griffin Esports overall here, Tasha, trying to make this transition as safe as possible.
They don't know he's
but
there.
you are not gonna be safe when the breach is in your face, but he can't see anything! He got blocked by the Viper Spit! Even I couldn't see where to shoot! Sig and lock him instead! Get the takedowns, all if not the Burger King, but that could have been great for X64. Instead, it falls apart as the obstruction was just way too much.
Yep, Burger King gonna want to try and bring that up to the next round. And I have to say, these slow sort of situations from Griffin Esports is something that I don't think that is very new per se. They like to take it slow. They like to come into sight very, very slow. It's a very big contrast to what we see from X64. They're very quick, very fast, very aggressive. And now because of this, they're going to go to a 4-4. I wouldn't say in the last round that the save was, I would say, super justified, but because they took too long to get onto site, they thought, okay, since we don't have time, might as well just not waste anything, and they kind of like show up in the next round.
Yeah, it was just right from Griffin Esports. One thing I have noticed again, though, is the fact that we've seen from Griffin, they've shown intention to track the play into halls and main. But what is happening right behind them, it's that dish control that they're taking. But since they made that noise, you have someone like Spirit MVP already setting up the wall. You have Burger King still watching that south side. And I guess that's the beauty of a map like Fracture. If you can utilize the other angles here and get behind your opponent who commits towards the more front part of the map, right? Then that's a chance for you to actually open things up. But speaking of opening things up, here we have it. Fat Bibi already getting rid of Simon. Wellins also falls into the abyss here over at Underpass. So overall, Griffin now finding ways and ways to punish X64 and their fortifications.
They love playing together. It's very rare that they kind of separate, go into two different areas to take a spot. They will just be walking together. Always. We are best friends. But we do know that for Burger King, there is a very, very aggressive angle he's playing in. He does get concussed here. Gonna be repositioning himself. Immediately gets one. It's gonna be wire select. And that's a Julius. Coming onto site is gonna be a little bit more difficult. But it's gonna be something that's very scary to deal with. Flash comes out as well. He gets two. Shufat BB. Now before Sing stops him out of the way. And Spirit MVP finds the trade onto Sing as well.
Now there's no fear whatsoever. And Agonize! Sure, he's on the Brimstone, but he's still as fatal as can be. Takes the round for X64. And the heroics yet again from the shining stars of X64 bearing fruit and giving the round. If you're usually just looking for the shot, you see a guy okay, but you see a team, your first instinct is to rendezvous, not for Burger King. Double dips and just basically gets the takedown. Or rather, he dips once, gets the kill, outs. Dips twice, finds another one, and just because of that, it allows players like Spirit MVP and then Agonize to help bring up the rear, reinforce, and what a way to win for X64.
I just really want to see for Griffin Esports how they kind of play differently in terms of taking up space. And we always see that, yes, right now we are seeing that separation come through here. We're going to see Shufat BB play underneath. But it's not like they're just coming in from two different areas for the pincer. It's not like they're going to say, okay, we want to go from dish. Let's also take control of either door or even sand or even A main instead. But Simon with that flank, this is actually really, really scary. Here comes the fire in the hole. Does it get a kill is the question. Not hearing anything just yet. Does find Burger King in return. Shufat BB coming from underpass, coming through arcade as well. Plant does come through. That aftershock will just deter Simon from pushing up onto the site. Lock M taking a lot of damage from those utilities as well. No deaths just yet. Shufat BB just holding on for dear life. Trying to watch the cross right now.
Yeah, but watch for Agonize. He's here over on screens, and maybe he can't get the takedown. Shufat BB, though, stepping up to get two. Here at MVP. That could have been a perfect transfer. Lock him, though, holding the line, but the Wellens on the opposite end finalizes the round and gives it to X64. Just so much to unpack in that round, but the biggest story basically was Griffin Esports was forced to play entry before they were ready. The push from X64, that's why you want to have that Neon in the first place, get even more of the map under your belt.
Yeah, Simon, which is exactly what that's exactly what we expect from a Neon in this game. Those flanks are phenomenal. Knowing the fact that there's no trademark there gives him a huger advantage when it comes to getting these, I would say, these very, very big picks all the way from the other side. It causes a pincer between them. Yes, it was very close, but with Wellens, I have to say that because they got the site already and the plant, they weren't able to prepare. Because where are you gonna look? Canteen? Are you gonna look at Canteen? Are you gonna look at Arcade? Or are you gonna look at Main? And immediately,
well, we're looking at Burger King. Who needs a Canteen when you got Burger King? We're being fed kill after kill from this guy.
Just shoving it in our mouths.
I'm loving it. Wrong restaurant, but it's already the same case from Burger King. They do still have an angle watching towards arcade. He has retreated, I believe, with the rendezvous. Sing here, pistol in hand, just tells me that Griffin Esports not the best arsenal. So Shufat BB, he's the one who needs to step up if they want to take this round. Look at the stun though. Feng and Sing get up close and personal. They're sieging into the spawn here of the defense. Everything is left to Simon now.
Oh, it's gonna be really hard for him to do anything, but suddenly Sing playing this very, very nasty corner. Finds Simon. What a great thrifty to bring them up to 5. But this is before a switch. This is actually closer than I thought it would be. We saw, I mean, from earlier today it was like, what, 9-3, 3-9. And now earlier was just, what, 16-14? And now 6-5 as we go into the second half.
That just tells me these two teams very evenly matched right now. Griffin finding adjustment after a few rounds. X64, just a lot of potency within them. Overall, you look at that round and Griffin Esports, they're just able to utilize their double smoker and of course their breach to get as close as possible. That's the one thing that Griffin needs to do, not go for those duels, and Simon will teach Shufat BB a lesson that he will not forget. But as this happens, since we're getting the biggest rotation here from X64, they took control of the south side of the map. Griffin will say, let's come from this shit again. Take the side. Here we go. Sing though gets 2. He's still trying to bring a symphony in. Spirit MVP and Agonize do answer back. Resurrection might just be the bait and switch. And there is that peak to keep the teammate alive. Only one left is gonna be Fung. Triple kills are his name, are his destiny. Can he do it yet again for Griffin Esports? There's the one. Looks for the second, but it's Agonize instead who takes the triple kill mantle. And X64 get back towards that A site.
7-5, not a bad situation to be. Now X64 on the attack. I'm curious to see what they're going to be doing. Because they do have that Neon, we might be seeing a very different way on how exactly they enter the site. Because with the breach as well, it can be pretty oppressive, as well as the smokes coming in from the Brimstone. Now for the side of Burger King, I think his trademark will be very, very important, especially in this round, to stop those lurks coming through. Because I did say, like, you see they're pushing in from Dish, you might want to expect someone to push outside from the side of Arcade to catch them behind the backs. And if they're able, or at least for Griffin Esports, they're able to just kind of get the pincer before they can get onto site. But at the Dish itself, it would be huge. We saw it happening before, and I wouldn't be surprised if it were happening again.
I'm expecting to get a stopwatch just to time these pushes from X64. And there
Look
you
how
go,
fast!
lap 1. Look how fast. Faster than Formula 1, but unfortunately, it will be mechanical failure as Shufat Bibi gets 3. He just dropped down to die in his sight lands. He wants to get the fourth Burger King on the opposite end. And Shufat Bibi, this is a round where he is just carrying his weight and more. Ball left to Agonize down in a 1v5 situation. Low on the HP. Griffin Esports trying to find his target, but Agonize, come on. Griffin, just get one more shot. The pain shells for safety. Okay. Maybe he could have done that earlier.
Still a little bit too late here. I think just committing onto a site without that information was a little bit too dangerous, I have to say. Just realized that when you see the way they play here, how they want to rush through, yes, it was fast, but I think for Griffin Esports, they were already anticipating these fast pushes. They were just holding. They weren't even moving a single time. And because there was that Viper smoke as well at the bottom side there, it allowed them to just quickly kind of like chunk through their HP, getting them those one taps if they want to. For now, as we go into a 7-6, there is a gun deficit, but we've seen thrifties from X64 that has been absolutely phenomenal.
How many bodies do they need to throw at Griffin Esports? So that's the question. Simon just bunny hopping around. Lock M is that first contact. But if you notice here, Tash, really, Griffin Esports and X64, they don't have ways to gather for intel. And for Griffin, they're banking on smoke obstruction to bring them those wins. Fire Select, though, already getting to Lock M also with another takedown. That's the spike drop towards a main. So what else can X64 do? Pretty much nothing unless Burger King just has a pop-off game.
Yeah, it's just going to be coming through to the other side. But I think Shufat Bibi was ready for him. They heard him coming through that rope. And I think this gun deficit is a little bit hard. But for Agonize, he's like, okay, I have 40 seconds to burn. I'm just going to go here, get as many ultimate orbs as possible. And I think this is a good thing because it allows him to take so much space, especially as they're coming onto the site. It allows him to stop the defuse as well. He can just play off-site if he does have the lineups. And we've seen some lineups earlier. They've been actually really, really fun to watch.
I mean, this is the map where orbs aren't that... All of the orbs, rather, aren't always contested. Because how many orbs are there? 4. So you'll probably pick one up along the way, but we pick up with Griffin Esports now, tying up the scoreline 7-7. X64 gonna have the buys. If Griffin wants to take the lead, they have to win this bonus. And one thing we have seen so far on this defense, it's just some great initial positioning from Griffin Esports. They're always prepared to still fight back. So how will X64 adjust? Do they wait for a bit of that concuss action to work, not just from the breach, but also the neon? Can they set up the wall in time to protect themselves and prevent a faster retake from Griffin? Let's find out, because we're gonna get back into the round.
Ooh, the sprays come through. Shufat Bibi gonna find Agonized. First one out, not good. They don't have any more smokes as Simon immediately gonna taking that space up onto the side of tower. Snakebite just gonna buy some time there, and no one is just moving just yet. They do have a double swing here. If they want to, Fung will be traded out, not before he's traded back in return by Shufat Bibi. Wellin still waiting. There's a crossfire ready for him, but look at that. Regardless, Shufat Bibi with a 3K, and it's a very, very clean round, and they lose their bonus.
Yeah, it just continues on to what we've said here. Griffin Esports getting that bonus, getting that third round in a row just because that someone is there to have that initial contact and win it anyway. You're expecting X64 to have the advantage with that speed, to have the advantage with the stuns, and a very quick execute, of course, courtesy of the smokes. But someone is already dead, throws a big wrench in the plans of X64. And Griffin Esports, since they have that confidence with that first pick, and basically the advantage is still hold on the site and try to hold only one of these angles, they throw things like the snake bite to slow down the push of X64. Bigger problem here as Griffin Esports, I'm watching towards the series, round per round, they're adapting better at playing against X64.
That BB gonna slide forward. Ooh, runs away with his life. Probably had a heart attack of his life, honestly. You don't really expect someone just kind of slide by you like that. Regardless for Fung, I think he's already anticipating a push up toward tower here, but no other movement yet from the team of X64. I think the idea is kind of scare them, get some information, and don't move. Because look at where the spike is. It's kind of like in between the two sites here as they try to get a feel of both areas.
At least right now, Griffin Esports still ready to get that contact towards Halls. In the meantime, dark cover Throne, Burger King can't fight from that high ground. And as it stands, still gonna be Griffin Esports holding towards the site. Fong above one of these players though, and just looks down on Simon and squishes him to the ground. Let's not forget, X64, not the best buy situation, so they better commit somewhere and fast. 20 seconds left as time is ticking. Spike moving towards A. Noise though, B made towards B site. But Griffin Esports, they refuse to fall for it here, Tash, and they're just waiting for some other people to come their way.
Looks like that's why Agonize does get one pick. It's gonna be Sing. Lock M finds Agonize in return. Good trade. As immediately, Spirit wants to make something happen. At least get that plant money, but I think it's not gonna be happening. Gets the plant, but gonna go down to that aftershock. Lost only one player in this as we go to 7-9, only a 2-point deficit. Now for this round in particular, I think that the economy will be a little bit more stabilized. They are gonna get their buys, but it doesn't feel like Simon is able to get the impact that he wants getting onto the site itself.
Well, I can just say for Griffin Esports that they have turned this series around if this is going to be the way that they play. They stopped the X64 push by catching one of the members in the app. Then they could continue on to just keep moving forward with this kind of style. And we talked about it a while ago, Griffin Esports really in Hong Kong, Taiwan, one of the teams that no discipline really. X64 though, still happy to go hog wild. This time around, they catch out Lock M with the concuss, and it gives them the advantage. Spirit MVP, always that second gunner right behind the Neon. Spirit MVP, always there for you, always reliable. And X64 now over at A site.
I'm really liking this idea of how aggressive they can commit, especially when they have that guns in terms of a fair advantage. Immediately gonna wall up here, they gives them that information, that aftershock just to clear out the corner. And Fung, where are you gonna go? Because all eyes are trained on you. It's a 2-on-4 situation. Agonize watching this area on sand. Shufat BB walking straight into his crosshair. Once again, a fault line to come through. And it feels like Fung was bullied by 3 different players this time instead of getting 3 different kills.
Come on, X64, when they have the angle, they are just absolutely overwhelming. They need to get more of those to come their way. They need to get that space courtesy of Simon, and you're gonna expect Spirit MVP and the rest of the roster to follow suit. Bit of a timeout though, X64, they notice now what they can do against Griffin Esports. They notice a bit of weakness, and if Griffin Esports can't really play off each other and are trying too much to anticipate these kind of pushes, then that might be a problem because the trains won't happen. Instead, X64 will have that momentum and will have enough control of the angle that they're using to get towards the site to make even more plays with the Breach and the Brimstone.
Yeah. Just curious to know. I think that what's really good is this timeout. They get one good round. They're like, okay, we clinched it. What exactly did we do? What exactly did we do right here? And I think in this situation for X64, that round was really good when you think about it, because that wall kind of like stopped giving them the information. Very, very fast movements from Simon allowed them to quickly get onto site. And I think for X64, if speed has always worked for them, I think they should just continue doing the same thing. I don't think that they need to play slow. They don't have to necessarily play the same way like Griffin Esports does.
That's the thing. it's just contrast here between these two teams. X64, I'd say they're a bit more akin to all the other squads in Taiwan, Hong Kong, who want to be aggressive, who want to just refine their basically just how fatal they can be. But then Griffin Esports, we've seen them that their biggest adjustment, especially in their local scene, is how defensive they can be. And here we go one more time. Shufat BB tracking the slide. Can't hit the second frag though to happen his way. Instead now, Lock M backing on out, playing as a pair. Orbital Strike is there as for cover, and not only that, the res comes, fast lane is now into play, and X64 just willing themselves towards the site.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate situation where you get that revive, especially after you tried so hard to get that initial pick. 31 HP, Fate as well, but Spirit MVP gonna immediately go down to Lock M. They were not able to hold on to the area of main. Regardless, that Rolling Thunder will make them have to give up all of that space. Agonize with 2, with 3! Agonize making it huge right now. Just watching the area of door, not allowing anyone through, but Burger King from on top of Dish area knows exactly how to play this as Lock M goes down eventually, and Burger King, the retribution, says, let's go and have dinner, guys.
Yeah, there you have it. A bit of a snack. X64, if they want to have dinner earlier, they have to wrap this series up by this map. Thing is, taking time bomb on that Brimstone. We made our concerns a while ago that you're moving one of your most potent players in Agonize over to the Brimstone role. And it just probably is a comfort thing right now for X64. Either Simons just feels better on the Neon, or Agonize doesn't feel better on playing the Neon and they want to run it. Still though, the scoreline doesn't lie. We are tied up, and look who's on top for X64. It's the man himself, ready to frag on out. But we cannot forget about Simon, and we cannot forget about Lock M! 3 for him! And this time, Griffin Esports, we see it yet again. The blast back also to open the doorway, and Griffin was ready for that one.
Yeah, just really catching him off guard, just standing there like, hey guys, I wasn't eavesdropping on your conversation at all. Burger King all alone here. Wants to make his way to the spike, at least get some plant money, but look at that. There's 2 crosshairs primed onto him. He still gets YR select. Can he get 2 is the question. Quickly gonna be repositioning himself towards sand. And I think because they think that he's gonna be coming in from a site, or at least a main here, I don't know. Maybe he can go toward rope, maybe get the up. Maybe he's trying to come in from the other side. I don't think anyone is ready just yet. He opens the door. It gives them all the information they need. It's Shufat BB. Hi, he says. Actually, no, it's phone that takes him.
Yeah, Griffin Esports. Again, here on the defense, we see more of the same on how they're just able to outmaneuver X64 and surprise them immediately. The concern right now for X64 is, why are there so many casualties to a single peak? I can expect maybe a kill or even 2 when one of these players from Griffin decide to peek out like that. But getting 3, just wiping out the whole force basically, it just goes to show that X64, they have this coordination, but they're also relatively looking in the same direction and just ill-prepared for what may happen in front of them. So we'll see now if X64 can clean up their act. The overdrive to make even more space. There's the wall now to prevent the peaks, courtesy of the CT spawn.
Ooh,
and it's Burger King who finds Sing. And Burger King, another one bites the dust for him.
Oh man, Simon doesn't even have to leave the side. Agonize with the steam beacon. Immediately finds Feng's head here. A very, very oppressive play coming through here from X64. Finally finding the momentum. With only 2 more left, I think for Shufat BB, the best thing for him to do is just save that up for the next round. And as for Agonize, honestly, despite the fact that he's not on a Julius, he's still able to step up. He's still able to actually land those shots, especially those headshots when he's on those, I would say, the Steam Beacon. Or Simon, rushing forward. Want to see if we can get any of those picks in return. But I don't think that the other 2 players will be showing themselves.
It's such a delicate tipping point though for these 2 teams. If X64 gets in, Griffin Esports falls apart. But if Griffin Esports stops the initial push, then it's X64 falls apart. Who can actually round their game better as wire select? We'll see Simon in the act. The operator saved here for Shufat BB. We mentioned for Griffin, it was a useful tool before on Ascent to actually bring out that op, stop X64 from playing those longer sight lines and just get the advantage. We continue on though. Still tied up. Tash, you know, from how this game is going, there's still a possibility we go into overtime.
It is gonna go to an overtime. The contrast between the two playstyles is really showing. That's why it's a tug of war situation here. One team super aggressive, just in your face. Another team taking it slow, 300 IQ plays. Simon with those sprays, but here comes the party wire. Select, unfortunately, doesn't get the hit, but Shufat BB will be getting 3. One with the Collat, one more in his pocket. Huge for Shufat BB in this round.
He erased the Southern Force immediately, and Griffin Esports, this should be their round to take. Spirit MVP almost gets a transfer on, but Shufat BB is just too large here. Larger than life, rather, to just ignore by this point. What an impact. You mentioned the collateral, but just him wiping out the Force still begs the same question. How can X64 clean up their push if they can't get on the site and get caught by Griffin in the act?
Honestly, this particular round, Shufat BB has been seriously stepping it up. His op shots have been absolutely deadly. And I really love seeing how aggressive he's playing. We were just talking about how Burger King plays. I mean, let's talk about Shufat BB. Simon gonna be punished severely for just rushing out through that smoke and deafen as well. But ring around the rosy, Wellens will be there to avenge his teammate. Finds Sing in return. Burger King, surprise! I caught you! But not before the trademark burst. It gives him enough information as Lock M tries to push upwards, but playing from the bottom side there gives him a little bit of an angle on Burger King.
Nice heads up, honestly, from Lock M. He was forced to look towards that hole, but turns around as Burger King stepped up to try and shoot him down. Now then, 3v3. Rolling Thunder still available here for X64, so you can see they're trying to play back, except the one Sage, that Spirit MVP, looking to be a bigger distraction, a bigger time sink even, but the wire select goes up top. Tries to find an angle from drop. In behind, though, towards the doorway. There is going to be pressure. Wellens bringing up the rear. Looking to protect the Brimstone as much as possible. Wellens will get that takedown. It's advantage now for X64. Rolling Thunder will be used by Lockdown. 1v1 scenario. So low on the HP, though. A single tap is enough for Spirit MVP to make that wish count and tie up the scoreline again.
Oh man, that Rolling Thunder, while it did give the desired effort, wasn't enough to tie it up because this very, very aggressive angles. When you're in a situation in that heavy pressure cooker situation, your mind is going just run straight for the spike. Where exactly they're going to be coming from? It tends to just make you overthink. It's hard for you to do, and even when you think about it, he was already pretty much running out of time.
What I'm just watching here is who can outpower the other. This has been the story of this series so far, and Simon now able to push Lock M away. Griffin have been rewarded by these peaks, but this time around they will be punished for it. Taking the high ground, the fast lane yet again, similar scenario, set up the wall using the neon wall for cover, and a very quick execute from X64. Burger King ambitious on the opposite side of the map, but Griffin Esports fights to make it a 4v4 scenario.
Yeah, fortunate for Burger King. Thought he was able to at least get one in return. Shufat BB once again. His shots never miss, especially on this round in particular. Simon will be the one picked off. Phone coming in from Mania. Shufat BB clears out the bottom side. Smoke's coming through here, making it a little bit harder for them to just kind of push in and take some space. They do hear the footsteps come through. Agonize pushes out. Agonize finds Shufat BB. Huge as Sing comes on the other side, but here comes the orbital strike coming through. Gets a barbecue. 3k in the pocket. Fung still finds Agonize in the end. And the question is, do they have enough time? I don't think so. And
No,
they
they don't.
go to match point.
The stall from Agonize was sublime. He didn't just push out, he was forced to after Wellens died right behind them, noticing that it was Griffin making the pinch happen. But look at how quick his reactions were. An orbital strike towards the site. Yes, but not only that, him still finding that one spot that Griffin Esports couldn't see. Finding that one angle that he could still get away with a kill. And that was just enough. It was a bit, he barely made it, but it was enough to put X64 on match points. This is it. Can they wrap it up with a swift motion towards B site? Or do we go again into overtime? Tash, that was unbelievable from Agonize, but believe this, we still have more to go.
Yeah. This time, it feels like for Simon, he's not able to... I mean, he's able to get those opening picks, especially against Locke, but he's always punished over and over again, especially when he rushes through. It would be nice if he could actually just come in with his teammates, maybe a flash from his breach, but it looks like they're gonna go through underpass here. trying to get any picks from tunnel side coming in through arcade, or perhaps just come into this area, get that space, and then maybe go through dish. Regardless, Simon, he is primed and ready. Look at that crossfire come through, just in case someone were to be a little bit sneaky, pushing through that smoke. And immediately gets one through that, but Burger King gonna trade out Foam and getting the revive immediately. Fastest revive we've seen this tournament so far, but Agonize with that aftershock doesn't really matter because Spirit is already pushing out, finds Sing in return. Quickly rushing onto the site is a 2-on-5 situation. Can they clutch this is what we're curious to know.
Tash, that was a blink and you'll miss it scenario. The smoke swapped, and just in that moment, you can see X64 eyes sharp and reflexes even faster. They now have the sight in their hands. They basically have the game at the palm of their hands. And Shufat BB, it's all up to him to try and keep the Griffin Esports hopes alive. But X64, they're ready to fight, and Burger King has it his way to take the win at the end. 13-11, no OTs this time. X64 will end the C qualifiers with a 2-0 and a slot to the playoffs.
Oh man, X64 showing us that even as a newly formed team, they are something, a force to be reckoned with. With Burger King really showing up on the last round, we can already tell that from their momentum, they didn't want to go to an overtime once again. They want to make sure that they can go back in a very, I would say, more concise or consistent sort of situation there as they go taking the 13th point. Now, for Griffin Esports, it felt like they knew what exactly they were doing. We know exactly why they chose that map, especially with Shufat BB's performance. But when you are against a team of players that are not only confident playing together, but confident to play on their own, it's a whole different ballpark. Because how exactly Griffin played was more of play together, holding hands, making sure that we don't get separated. Very different from what we see from the side of X64, who are okay with not only playing separated, not only okay with playing taking out space in very different situations, but also breaking up to make sure they get the pincer.
Look, it was a messy game, in all honesty. When you either get the Griffin punish or the X64 overwhelm in that second half. Eventually, X64 continue tradition here in Taiwan, Hong Kong. Perhaps a changing of the guard even. Look at the names that they have beaten along the way to make it to the playoffs. Ghetto Artists fall to the hand. Griffin Esports fall to the hand. Those are teams tested in the VCT APAC stage. But this time around, we got some new names. We got some new faces at the very top. And it is gonna be X64. So they're here to represent for their region. They're gonna be one of the 8, and I really just have to give big props to this whole team. So potent, to say at the very least, right? You look at Burger King, yes, that chamber is absolutely nutty. You see what we have seen basically from that Brimstone at the very end. Started off with the Raze, but he just gets away with absolute criminal acts, and there's no one really to stop him. But the rest of the team also enabling their stars as much as possible. We give big props especially to the MVP of utilities. And overall, it really feels like for X64, they are able to just overpower their opponent this time around.
Yeah, but let's have a look at the updated brackets now. Let's see who is going forward and who is going home. And for now, it's going to be Griffin Esports. Their journey stops here. For Axe as well as Kunpeng, their matches is still currently going on. I'm curious to know if exactly it's the same situation as us. Did they go for an overtime? Was it as close as we are? Or maybe they even went to a map 3?
Yeah, well, isn't that the case in the SCA anyway? Can't get chaotic, can't go long, and a show of strength between the teams. But there you have it, guys. We basically have our representatives for the SEA playoffs in December. We now know who are the teams looking to move forward and looking to compete for that prize pool. But in the end, Clash of Nations making these names known, showing us a preview of who may come next towards Ascension, towards VCT next year. And I'm happy to be part of the process and have a front row seat for it. X64, though, they can be one of those powerhouses if they can just keep surprising opponent after opponent by the pace that they play in.
But let's have a look at the playoff schedule for now to see what exactly is happening as we go into the month of December. So we have 8 teams from Southeast Asia from 8th till 11th of December will be playing to the playoffs. We have the playoffs for Japan and Korea as well with 4 teams, and the playoffs for OCE also with 4 teams. And now all of this, at the end of the day, it's going to be very exciting to see the best of the best from each region meet up against each other. So be sure to mark that on your calendars. 8th December all the way to the 11th of December.
Yeah, you already know it. Check marks for us. And ESL Clash of Nations, it will continue next month. But at the very end of everything, Tash, I kind of want to ask you, not just from what we've seen today, maybe perhaps what is your favorite match all throughout the qualifiers that we've done here?
I have to say it has to be Dewa United versus South Built. It's one of the tier 1 teams that we've seen coming up against a tier 2 team from Indonesia, really catching us off guard. And I'm really liking the quality coming in from that match in particular, really showing what exactly we can expect from the Philippines as well as Indonesia, the W gaming spirit.
Why you take my answer? Come on.
What? You asked me!
I shouldn't have asked you first, but yeah, I agree with you. I did enjoy, though, even though it was Korea-Japan, that first matchup that we had today. Crazy Raccoon. Just absolutely shocked, in all honesty, by a newly formed Korean squad. Yes, of course, the players of that team, they were part of VCT Korea. They were there to perform, but it wasn't to the heights of Crazy Raccoon. OQ Academy, they're ones to watch out for. They can be one of the powerhouses from the Korean side there. But that's gonna be it here for us, here at SCA, here at Japan Korea, and here for the qualifiers. Dax and Tash has been happy to bring you for the action for the past few weeks, and we'll be signing out for now. See you guys next month for more of the Clash of Nations.
Bye!
Bounce. Everybody love a comeback. Gotta love a good comeback. Now you witnessing a comeback. Everybody love a comeback. Gotta love a good comeback. They say pressure bust pipes. So what's the win without a comeback? So what's the win without a comeback? Hustling every day to win. Now you witnessing a comeback. I'm not the one that you should play with. Better stick with who you came with. You ain't a thug, you a plaintiff. And I might jack dangerous. Moonwalking through a jam. Thread a slide for the bread. Watch them pray on my downfall. Hoping that they get ahead. So we don't give them no respect. It's just time to shuffle deck. Hit the body, clip the neck. Cause you know that more is less. Yes, yes, Lord. I gotta win by any means. I'm all for it. I got a little strategy, and I won't blow it. I feel like I got Cali keys. Show me the door, cause they just want apologies and never war. So we hit them with apostrophes on they score. That's money, boy. Everybody love a comeback. Gotta love a good comeback. They say pressure bust pipes. So what's the win without a comeback? So what's the win without a comeback? Hustling every day to win. Now you witnessing a comeback. Everybody love a comeback. Gotta love a good comeback. They say pressure bust pipes. So what's the win without a comeback? So what's the win without a comeback? Hustling every day to win. Now you witnessing a comeback. Game 7 with the comeback. Second left with the comeback. Lee Brian when I inspire. Real rap, that's all fact. Yeah. Tell me how you love that. Y'all middlemen, your fans. I'm trying to show them where to plug at. I'm trying to show them how to get back. Hustle up and get a kickback. That real motivation. Chill bumps when they hear that. Talking real demonstration. That Nipsey dedication. Hustling every day to win. That NEP mission statement. Never ending power. Look how I innovated. This that 10,000 hours. You get paid from your patience. Game need renovating. Hey, lucky I don't cave it. I ain't nothing to play with. Boy, I'm about to go ape shit. Everybody love a comeback. Gotta love a good comeback. They say pressure bust pipes. So what's the win without a comeback? So what's the win without a comeback? Hustling every day to win. Now you witnessing a comeback. Everybody love a comeback. Gotta love a good comeback. They say pressure bust pipes. So what's the win without a comeback? So what's the win without a comeback? Hustling every day to win. Now you witnessing a comeback.
You see the baddest women in the room. I got it. That money stacking to the ceiling, fool. I got it. And people watching you watch how I move. I got it. You got it. I got it. You got it. I got it. You see the baddest women in the room. I got it. That money stacking to the ceiling, fool. I got it. And people watching you watch how I move. I got it. You got it. I got it. You got it. I got it. Now you should know though, I'm after moto. I gotta get. I might be solo. Oh, I with FOMO. You know I'm with. But if I'm dolo, I'm still gon' want those. A real one. Because it's YOLO. Because it's YOLO. You live once. I'm about that paper